Stand by to receive our transmission.
Hey, folks. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Welcome on board. I hope you're all having a fantastic week thus far. Welcome to another Hump Day impromptu weeknight stream. So decided to do some Canada operations today, so we're flying from Vancouver to Kelowna, and depending on how we feel after a really short half-hour flight to Kelowna, we might either do the return leg or do some more GA flying after our incredibly fun GA flight on Saturday to Oshkosh. We might do a bit more GA flying, depending on how our viewers in chat feel. So I have figured out a way to get Streamlabs chatbot working. So we have in this stream today the debut of sound effects. So let's see if this works. We've got some fun sound effects that you can all play every once in a while. So we've got
I know that you and Frank were planning
we've got exclamation mark
and
autopilot,
that's something I can't allow to happen.
which plays the sound of of not Dave Mobin, but the sound of HAL 9000, of course. So anytime the autopilot disconnects or we feel like the autopilot is doing something it shouldn't be in this aircraft, we can play that. We've got a bunch of other sound effects as well. Here's one that should be fun. We've got a couple of, we don't have GPWS, unfortunately. We do have excellent. We do have whoa from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. What else do we have? I'm going to figure it out. We've got a whole bunch of these lined up here. So we'll discover them as we go through the stream. That's what we're going to do. There is one more here that I wanted to play. Oh, yeah, actually a couple more. Oops, not that one. Yeah, I did see the thrust reverser door open. That's a flaw in the save file for the... that is an issue there. It's going to fix itself once we start pushing back. If it doesn't fix itself, we're going to have to reload. I did notice that as well, and I was kind of annoyed. But hopefully that fixes itself. And of course, we've got bad feeling. Anytime we've got...
I got a bad feeling about this.
This is something that I'm going to leave up to chat to figure out an appropriate time to use that. These sound effects obviously are on timers, right? So if you've used it once, you probably can't use it for a few more minutes at least. There's a cooldown period to make sure people don't abuse the system and keep playing this over and over again. But chances are your streamer is going to be the one abusing this stuff. And lastly, we've got ATC. I do have a list.
All systems have been alerted to
I
your
spent
presence,
far
sir.
too much time compiling all this. So whenever we hop on ATC, we've got C3PO saying all systems have been alerted to your presence. So we've got far too many of this. Oh, and one last one, of course. We've got exclamation mark inquiry. So if you have a question,
Parliamentary procedure.
Don't screw around. They're serious this time.
Take it easy. I'm in pre-law, man.
Thought you pre-med.
What's the difference?
so if you've got a question mark, or sorry, if you've got a question rather, and I completely failed to pay attention to that in chat, you can feel free to use exclamation mark inquiry, and that'll play that little soundbite from Animal House there. So anyway. We are in Vancouver, like I mentioned, and let me catch up on chat here.
Excellent!
Castillo's, it's not Commanda. All right, Lokestar, Castillo's. Sorry to hear about the dry eye hindrance there, Lokestar. That sucks. Expert Pilot says, no doctor needed. These streams are the medicine. Thank you there, Expert Pilot. Welcome to you. Micah, good to see you. Colby M, good to see you. How's Drew? Fantastic to see you as well. And let's see, did I miss anybody else here? Charger 3383, welcome on board to you. Hope you're doing well. And Isaiah Martin earlier, welcome to you as well. Thank you all for hanging out.
They don't have a listing for Mr. Wonderful.
What spelling did you use?
All right, don't abuse the system too much, folks. We have plenty of time to go through it over the course of the stream. And one last thing, of course, we're going to play around with towards our arrival into Kelowna is we're going to use the Streamlabs chatbot poll. Hopefully I can get that working, and depending on what the results of that poll are, if I can get it working, we'll decide on either some GA flying or a return flight to Vancouver. Okay, I have got everything I think in from my McDo here, so let's go ahead and go to ATSU, or let's go to the ATSU page. Let's make sure we get our fuel slip in. We're probably going to get yelled at for not getting that in earlier, 2651. Let's go ahead and put that in. And by the way, let me know what the volumes are like for the engine sound versus the sound of my voice, obviously. And depending on whether or not the engine sound is too loud or too low, we can adjust accordingly. It's probably too loud is my guess, but let me know. I try to play around with that a bit.
Hi, the security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Go for it.
Okay.
We already started boarding earlier, by the way, but it's giving that to us now for some reason. Let's see, I wanted to go there, and what I wanted to do was go to there, ATSU, go to AOC, and let's go ahead and get our performance numbers in. Altimeter at 29902, pressure is standard here in Vancouver. Winds are out of the west today, so we're going to take off on 26 left, and our temperature is 24, that's good. Okay, estimated Mach 2, 31.1, that's confirmed as per the load sheet. And estimated takeoff weight 60.3, again confirmed as per the load sheet. And we're going to plan on a flaps 1 plus F takeoff today. Packs off, and 26 left. Let's go ahead and send that out. So all we need to do now is wait for our performance numbers to come in, and then we should be good to go soon, hopefully. All right, fantastic. So we're just going to wait on those numbers to show up. And let me catch up on chat here. Was that you, DJ, did not work, I guess. Anyway, Hazaru, what kind of flying? Just a little bit of flying in a tailwheel airplane. So I took the Citabria up, and that was a ton of fun. ATC command is good to mess with you while you ask for clearance. Castillos, please don't do that. This is not meant to be abused. I know it's 4 a.m. and you're probably bored, but don't do that. That will not be cool. The goal of that is we hop on ATC, have some fun. If people abuse it, I'm going to readjust the cooldown timers for individual users and things like that, obviously. Okay, let's talk through our flight plan. Really straightforward today, going from Vancouver up to Kelowna. So let's go ahead and go to the desktop capture scene. Let's pull this up. Actually, let's pull up the Chrome window. Let's see if this works. Hopefully it does. Okay, so assuming this works, here's what our plan is going to be. We're going from Vancouver to Kelowna. Really short flight across British Columbia, going from the western side of British Columbia. But let's see, about halfway, or most of the way across British Columbia here to Kelowna. So we're flying from FS Dream Team's Vancouver scenery to fsimstudios Kelowna scenery. Route of flight today, we're doing the Vancouver 1 departure. So we're going to take off on a runway heading. If there's interest in doing a group flight, I can hop on VATSIM and do a group flight with folks, so let me know if there's interest. And then we're going to get radar vectors to Vancouver VOR, Vancouver up to CEKAB, CEKAB joining the CEKAB 4 arrival into Kelowna. And I think we're going to expect the RNAV 3-4 approach today. So we'll see what the winds are doing as we get closer to Kelowna. But relatively straightforward. Nothing really major there. Okay, let's go back to the prepared screen. Just got our performance numbers in. Let's go ahead and get that stuff inputted. All right, let's see. Packs off, 26 left. Everything there is looking good. All right, let's get this in. Flaps 1 takeoff, down 0.6. All right, and our flex temp is going to be, what is it going to be? 68 degrees. All right, got that in. And V-speed's 131. No, Castillos, no worries. Thanks, I much appreciate that. It's just, if my regular viewers start abusing the system, can you even imagine what folks that aren't typically here might do, right? That's my concern. So, thank you for that. Okay, let's go ahead and get our zero fuel weight CG, and our block fuel is 4.2. Okay. Does that make sense? Yes, indeed it does. Okay. All right, let me go back to my perf page here, just make sure everything looks good. 131, 131, 132. Let's go to flight plan. Let's put in 2 slicks left in the departure. And we'll put in Vancouver 1 on the SID. Insert. Okay, and that disco makes sense. Let's go back to perf. 131, 131, 132. Okay, fantastic. And our flex temp once again is 68. That got cleared out. And lastly, we're going to put this all up in here again in FS2 crew. So let's get that in. Flaps 1 takeoff. Oops. Flex temp 68. Just bear with me while I get all this information in. Micah says you need to fly the Airbus again. You've been on the 737 grind lately, flying for SWA VA. Awesome there, Micah. But yeah, I can imagine. After a while, you do tend to miss the Airbus. It certainly is very, you know, things are very convenient in the Airbus, right? Sure. Okay, let's see. Thrust reduction. And one thing I want to do, go to progress here. Optimum cruise level is flight level 255, actually. So we're going to plan on a cruise flight level of 250, in fact. Let's put that in. And I'm going to put that up here as well. 25,000. Let's go to init, make sure that's here as well. Okay. The flight plan was calling for 290, but I kind of felt like that was too high. So this way, at least we have a bit of time to relax before we start our descent. Okay, got everything in there. And transition altitude 18,000, of course. Fantastic. Okay, we got everything in. Let me catch up on chat here, and then we'll do our departure brief and get going shortly. Logstar was saying You just started flying the 747 Iron Maiden livery on their 2016 tour. Awesome there, Logstar. And Castillo's, no worries. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next time. Just Love Flying. Sorry I missed you earlier. Welcome on board, Just Love Flying. Hope you're doing fantastic. Thanks for hanging out with us today. All right. Let's start. Let's see. What do I want to do here? There we go. Unfortunately, that reverser, for some reason, is still on open, so hopefully that doesn't stick once we start our engine start later. But hopefully that should be okay. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and I wanted to very quickly check on the situation here on VATSIM. If there are controllers online for Vancouver, what I might do is hop onto VATSIM here, but it doesn't look like anybody's online, actually. So you know what we're going to do? We're just going to stay offline today. No big deal. Yeah, we'll just fly offline, we'll have some fun. In fact, what I might do is get some live ATC audio in the background. So let me pull that up here real quick. That way we have something to listen to. Okay, let's put in, let's see, Vancouver Delivery Ground Tower. That works. Let's play that in the background. It's probably not too alive at the moment, but at least that way we have some background audio. Okay, let's go ahead and do our departure briefing here. Are you ready for the departure brief?
Ready.
All right, this is going to be a standard left C takeoff with takeoff flaps config 1+F and flex temp 68 degrees. Off of runway 26 left, V speeds 131, 131, 132. And the weather at Vancouver, let's pull this up here real quick. Okay, the weather of Vancouver, winds 290 at 4 knots, visibility 20 statute miles, clear skies, temperature 23, dew point 14, altimeter 29902. And that might be just a little bit too loud, so I'm going to turn that ATC audio down just a little bit. And altimeter is 29902. And we're located at, where are we? We're located at gate 42 here. Let's go ahead and review our taxi route runway 26 left real quick. Okay, give me 1 second here to pull up that window. There we go. And let me go ahead and pull up my Chrome window. There we go. Okay, so we're located at 26 left, or sorry, 26 left. We're located at runway to gate 42 rather. Gate 42 is up here, apron 6, and we're going to be taxiing to hold short of 26 left via, let's see, I think it's Juliet, Charlie, Victor. That's usually, they don't usually want you taxiing on Juliet, if I remember correctly. So it's Juliet, Charlie, correction, actually it's, is that Kilo? Yeah, so it's Kilo, Victor, Hotel all the way down to Delta, and then Delta to hold short of 26 left at Delta 7. And during the departure off of 26 left, for any malfunctions before V1, such as engine failure, fire, loss of control, aircraft unsafe to fly, I'm going to call stop to reject the takeoff, brake, exit off the runway if able, and advise ATC. Any malfunctions after V1, we're going to continue the takeoff and treat it as an in-flight emergency. I'm going to handle the controls and advise ATC, and you back me up with the ECAM and memo action items. Pending that, GNEA, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out with us. Pending that, we're going to be departing off of 26 left via the Vancouver 1 departure today. Procedure is to climb on a heading of 263 or as assigned by ATC. We'll maintain 7,000 or assigned and expect radar vectors to file assigned route and clearance to filed flight plan altitude or flight level 5 minutes after departure. Transition altitude 18,000. Safe altitude within 100 nautical miles is 12,800 due to the terrain to the north of the airport there, the coastal mountains. And non-jet aircraft do not exceed 165 knots and climb. That doesn't apply to us. Jet aircraft use noise abatement departure procedure 1 or 2. Do we actually have that chart? I'm kind of curious to take a look at it real quick. Do we have that? There it is. Okay, 10-4. Departure procedures. Local time. Just kind of quickly taking a look at this to see if there's anything here that might be of interest to us. Engine barometer restrictions, altitude restrictions. Oh, we're fine. Don't worry about it. Flying offline anyway. But I was just kind of curious to look at that. This SID does require a minimum climb gradient of 290 feet per nautical mile at 2,100 feet. And no real special considerations beyond that for weather or terrain today. So that is our departure brief. Any questions? Actually, let me ask that question again here. Any questions?
I'm good.
Okay, got our departure briefing completed here. Let me quickly catch up on chat here. Lodestar was saying, did you hear tomorrow, hopefully we start the Mars Journey, a 7-month trip. That is fantastic, Lodestar. Yeah, I did hear about the Perseverance, I think is what they're calling it, right? The new Mars rover that they're planning on launching to Mars. I'm super excited about that for sure. It's always fantastic to see a new Mars mission occurring for sure. Boy, it really is amazing all the fantastic things that are going on related to space these days, right? So we had the successful launch of the Dragon Endeavour, the Dragon capsule Endeavour from SpaceX, and hopefully that has a successful return to Earth sometime within the next few weeks. And now we've got this mission to Mars that's going to certainly lead to a wealth of hopefully new science and new information that contributes to a wealth of knowledge on Mars. So hopefully that does happen, on schedule, and they do fit it within the launch window, because I know these launch windows to a place like Mars are pretty tight, and they certainly want to make that launch window with as minimal hiccups as possible. So hopefully that works out. That is going to be super exciting to watch that launch for sure. Lodestar was saying it's NASA with a SpaceX partnership. That's awesome. GNEA, indeed I am. Expert Pilot says on an Atlas V. So where is the SpaceX partnership in that case? Micah, it's a robotic mission. If it's the, obviously, it's a robotic mission with the, what do you call it, with the rover, the Mars rover, Perseverance. Housru says, it was with NASA, but he wasn't sure if they decided to do a make your own. Lodestar saying there's a link somewhere in NASA's site you can send your name for the next mission. Yeah, that's always fun to do for sure. Get your name, laser printed or whatever, right, on the surface of the Mars rover, or on the surface of the capsule or something. That's super cool. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and do a before start check here. Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Sorry, hit the cough button there. Completed. Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On auto.
Adheres.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
.1 tons.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Barrow ref.
29er 2 set.
2992. Set. Down to the line.
Okay, we're down to the line. Let's go ahead and move the timer forward just a little bit here so that we can accelerate through the process and get pushback pretty soon. Although we're going to do the Popeye's going to go through the before pushback start flow. Oh, that's done already. That's good. Okay, that happened in a hurry.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Thanks, it'll be a short taxi.
Thanks. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay, let's go ahead and get that beacon on here. Cabin crew, arm slides, and cross-check.
Ground Air Canada 321 so.
Okay, let's go ahead and request our pushback here. Okay, prepare for pushback and departure. Below the line. Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed. Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
On.
Before start checklist complete.
Before start checklist complete. Oh, Aviator bot is working. That's awesome. Vlogs, welcome on board. Hope you're doing well. Raptor Aviation, welcome to you as well. Thanks for hanging out with us. GNEA, I'm a general aviation pilot. I'm not an airline pilot. Had no interest in going pro. But I've been flying GA small aircraft for coming up on 15 years now, actually. So there you go. Miguel de Oliveira, hola to you. Welcome on board. Good evening. Thanks for hanging out with us. Lodestar says you registered your name back in 2015. You almost forgot about it. Awesome, Lodestar. So maybe your name is on this mission or on a prior mission, even. Vlogs, this is the R&D. This is Tomatoshade. It's R&D. There's no reshade. I don't use reshade. I've never used it. Never had an interest in using it. Okay, let's do a quick edit pushback here. And we'll push back to right about there. Right onto the taxi lane there. I think, let's see. There we go.
Departure check completed. Bypass bin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Okay, let's release the parking brake. Move the engine mode selector to ignition/start. And let's go ahead and start up engine 2 there. Starting engine 2.
Check.
Oh boy, this scares me because it says reverser on idle there. So, yeah, it's kind of a oh, there we go. Thankfully, it fixed itself. Okay, because I was worried for a second there that it would be stuck with the reversers open. I've had that happen on prior flights where for some reason, if I load a saved flight with the A320 from FSLabs, the reverser can get stuck open like that. And when I start up the engines without realizing it, I have to do some tricks in order to get that unstuck. So thankfully that resolved itself pretty quickly. But good engine. Looks like this engine is starting up on schedule here. N2, EGT fuel flow, N1, and looks like engine is stabilizing. Available coming up there. Let's go ahead and move the engine mode or the master switch for engine 1 into the on position. Starting engine 1.
Check.
Okay. Miguel is going to be a man-flex takeoff. Hazaru says, Aviator Bot, what does he do? Aviator Bot is the Streamlabs chatbot, essentially. That is the account that I need to use for the Streamlabs chatbot to work. So the Streamlabs chatbot is what I use to generate all these commands, right? Like this one. I have far too many commands here. That's Mr. Burns from The Simpsons with the excellent. Oh, and by the way, we've also got this command here.
Trusting every aspect of our lives to a giant computer was the smartest thing we ever did.
More Simpson stuff. I've got too many of these. I've got far too many of these for anybody to remember. I had far too much fun. I decided if I'm going to have a chatbot, I'm going to go all out on it, right? So, okay. I'm going to move the engine mode selector back to normal there. Good start on number 1 as well. APU bleed coming off. APU master coming off. Okay. And thankfully, my Streamlabs CloudBot is working also. Micah was saying you hope the next aircraft Tolis will make us, I'm assuming you mean A330, or actually Tolis does not, Flight Factor makes the A320, and I heard that's not a very good rendition of it, so yeah. A320 or A340. Why not the A330, Micah, out of curiosity? Are you more of an A330 or A340 fan? That's interesting. Okay, let's call for the after start checklist here. After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
To release it, lift the upper portion
off.
Or press on the
ECAM status.
Air quality
checked.
is important to
Pitch
us.
trim.
That's why we always ensure that you enjoy a non-smoking
32% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Clear left. Clear left side.
Clear right side. Check.
Ooh, did I set my parking brake? No, I did not. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, so we're gonna wait on that before I can actually call clear left side. So we're gonna be waiting here for just a few seconds. Okay, so one quick question. Here in external view, I am curious, how is the engine volume in the external view compared to the sound of the audio level of my voice in the stream? Because that's the one I always have an issue with. I can never get it right because the FSLabs engine sounds are incredibly high. So I tried turning them down a lot, but I'm not sure if that's enough just yet. Micah was saying you think the FMC one is your favorite. That's good to hear there, Micah. Expert Pilot was saying the A340 is super underrated. Yeah, it's very hard to get good add-ons there. You know, or to get, not to get good add-ons, but to get developers to committing to develop an A340 add-on, just because it's not an aircraft that's incredibly popular in real life, right? I was saying on one of my previous streams that I think the A340 is a bit of the red-headed stepchild. not to be, you know, not to be mean to red-headed stepchildren, but it is a bit the red-headed stepchild, right? The odd one out in Airbus's fleet. It's one of those aircraft that has a very, very niche market, and it's rapidly going out of service, right? Because of the 4-engine nature of the jet. Okay, we're just going to wait on them to clear before we can clear, or before we can taxi forward. Let me pull up my iPad here. Let me pull up my airport map. So we're going Kilo, straight ahead. Victor, Hotel, Hotel, Delta, Delta, Delta 7. Okay, they're clear. Clear left side. Clear left side.
Clear right side. Check.
Okay, taxi light coming on. Runway turn-off lights coming on. Let's start taxiing out here. That's great to hear there, Hazru. And, well, Hazru says the engine is a tad loud, so I'm going to turn that down a bit more. I'll turn that down a bit more, actually, in that case. How is it in the cockpit, out of curiosity? Is the cockpit engine audio level, good in relation to my voice, or does that need to be turned down as well? Okay, parking brake released. Let's go ahead and start taxiing out here. Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Flight controls check.
Ready. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Rudder.
With you. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Okay, expert pilot says cockpit is fine for you. That's good to hear there, expert. Yeah, getting audio levels right is really, really difficult because I'm using just one PC both for flight simming and streaming. So, you know, the audio feed level that I'm getting in my headset obviously is totally different from what you're hearing in the stream. So I'll figure that out though. Anyway, we're heading down Kilo here. We're going to hang a left down to Victor. Victor down to Hotel. Hotel all the way past the terminals. Down to Delta. Delta continuing down to 26 left. That is our plan. And I'm going to catch up on chat while we're going here. Lokestar is saying, yeah, for P3D, black box are the only one that makes it, but it's not good. Yeah, black box, boy, I've never touched their add-ons. I hope I never have to, unless they make them better. CC Aviation, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out with us. Micah was saying you would like a 330 from them too, but you thought it would be a little bit too much for the list. And since we have the JAR design E330 that isn't very good though, it was a weird thought process, but I think you know what I mean. Indeed, I do there, Micah, or at least I think I know what I think you were trying to say. So we got that. But no, that makes sense there, Micah. Hazru says it just came out at the wrong time. It did survive longer than the A380, says Lokestar. That is true, Lokestar. Yeah, you could make that argument as well, that the A340 was actually perhaps a bit more successful, at least commercially, than the A380, right? You might be able to make that argument for sure. I think the A380 failed to break even for Airbus, if I remember correctly. So that's unfortunate. Okay, we're going to hang left here onto Hotel. And we'll head all the way down Hotel to Delta, then we'll hang a left on Delta. Boy, taxiing here at Vancouver International is super tricky, and that's because that taxiway that we could have taken, Juliet, is right next to the terminal there, and I think sometimes they have wide bodies parked there, and there's just not enough clearance for aircraft that want to get around those wide bodies. They want to taxi on Juliet. So that's why we got this kind of weird, circuitous taxi route here. Wait a minute, am I on? Yeah, I am on Hotel. Okay, that's good. All right, let's see. Expert Pilot says the live ATC is a bit echoey though. Okay, well, we can turn that down, or we can actually turn that off. Boy, my God, you people are so demanding today. What is going on? It used to be that I could do no wrong, but I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, the feedback is more than welcome and much appreciated. Thank you for the feedback. I'm going to turn that down. And by the way, it's echoey probably because the same controller is probably transmitting both on tower and ground frequencies. So my guess is you're hearing the same controller there on two different frequencies, but because I'm tuned into live ATC audio for delivery, ground, and tower, that's probably why it sounds echoey. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to bring up tower. That way you have one frequency, and hopefully that should be good enough. Okay, just going to pull that up. Try not to get too distracted switching frequencies there to forget to turn left onto Delta, because if I fail to turn left onto Delta, we're going to be on 26 left, well before we need to be on 26 left. That's the runway right there. Oops. Boy, always takes me a while to get used to the sensitive nature of the nose wheel steering on the FSLabs A320. Miss Wysek Doshnik, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Greetings, guten Morgen to you in Germany. Thanks for hanging out with us from Germany. I hope I got that right, Liz. Let's see. Miss, I know that the Germans love their long names that are strung together. Miss Wysek Dochnicht, if I understood that correctly, or if I'm reading that correctly. But welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Okay, let me catch up on the rest of chat here. Micah was saying, actually, Tolis is working on an A321 Neo/LR/XLR extension for their A321 right now. That's awesome, Micah. Yeah, so I've been hearing really good things about the Tolis A321. So if they do indeed develop an extension for the, to essentially model the performance of the Neo and all that kind of stuff, that'd be fantastic. I have seen people do Neo mods for the A321 from Tolis, but I'm not sure those are actually. I'm not sure if those mods are just purely visual mods, or if those mods are actually, in any way taking into account the performance of the Neo versus the CEO.
Jazz 568, tower contact departure 1, clear takeoff, runway 26 left.
Let me just turn down the audio here on the ATC just a smidgen. There we go. Yeah, but that got rid of the echo because, once again, it's the same controller talking on all three frequencies. Clearance, delivery, ground, and towers. That's why you're hearing the echo earlier. I just tuned in tower right now, so that's why you're not hearing the echo anymore, thankfully. Okay, Delta all the way down to Delta 7. Miguel was saying you wait for the FSLabs or other modder to do the A320 Neo or other new engine option Airbus. Yeah, totally there, Miguel. I'm super excited for whenever Airbus, not Airbus, but whenever FSLabs brings out the Sharklets version as well for the FSLabs. That's going to be super awesome. But boy, I don't know when we'll ever get a Neo for the FSLabs. It's going to be a while, I feel. One of the nice things about FSLabs, though, is when they do get them out, they tend to get them right, They've got some fantastic beta testers, right? Especially in the Twitch community, like Black Box 711 and, of course, our new darlings and stars in the Twitch flight sim community, like Airbus for the Win and Katie Pilot, who obviously bring with them a tremendous wealth of knowledge and information on flying the A320 in real life. FSLabs thankfully has access to real-world pilots and engineers, folks who really understand the A320 in and out, and they do tend to take their time to do a good job of making sure that when they do release, whether it's the Sharklets or the Neo, whenever that is ever developed and whenever that ever comes out, that they're going to get it right, or at least most of the way right. And if they get anything wrong, they will try and fix it, unlike some other developers in the flight sim community. Say what you will about FSLabs and all the drama, which I'm not the biggest fan of, right? What they did about 3 years ago, but say what you will about them, they do tend to produce really, really high-quality add-ons. They definitely show a real passion for the products and, for the work they put into their products, for sure. Okay, holding short here of 26 left. Let's do our before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist.
Clear. 25.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Check. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Check. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap settings.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. V1. VR. V2. Flex temp.
V speeds 131, 131, 132. Flex temp 68 degrees. Flex temp 68 degrees.
V1, 1, 3, 1, VR, 1, 3, 1, V2, 1, 3, 2, flex temp, 6, 8 degrees, ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff, no blue.
Down to the line.
Okay, we're down to the line. Before we go below the line here, I'm just going to quickly catch up on chat. Logstar was saying constructive criticism. did I miss something there? Or maybe I need to do a better job of catching up on chat as the messages are coming in, because I feel like I'm always a little behind, because I know the constructive criticism is in relation to something I did. I'm just not quite sure what it was. Anyway, Micah was saying Inabills is working on an A380 and are going to be working on it more once they release the A300. Yeah, by the way, going back to your previous question, Micah, I am certainly looking forward to the Inabills release of the A300, which you know, I almost forgot, right? The A320 was the first Airbus with the side stick, obviously, right? There's the side stick right there. Ooh, I love the animations here. That is a fun little animation there. I could do this all day. I could do this all day. In fact, we're not going to stream anymore, folks. That's the end of the stream. I'm just going to sit here and do... I'm just kidding. This is so relaxing, though. Just doing this and watching the animation is super relaxing. But obviously, right, the reason I was looking at that is because the A320 was the first Airbus with a side stick. The A300 and A310, if I remember correctly, had a yoke, right? So it's going to be super interesting for sure to fly an Airbus with a yoke. That is going to be super interesting. Micah says that's going to be the highlight of your year when the Inabills version of the A300 comes out. Yeah, it's going to be super cool for sure there, Micah. By the way, Micah, I hope you get back to streaming soon. We haven't seen a stream for you in a while, if I remember correctly, on Twitch. So hopefully when the A300 comes out, we'll see you do some streams in that. Micah says J-Pro is also working on a freeware A380. Awesome. And Micah says it's for X-Plane, surprisingly. Okay. Miss, I'm going to call you Miss Wise. Hopefully that works there, Miss Weisen Doknet. But hopefully that works well. So Miss Weisen Doknet, I've interacted with plenty of Germans in my life and career, so that's the reason I'm able to at least do a reasonably not terrible job, let's say. I know it's bad, but I'm doing a reasonably not terrible job of stringing those all the consonants and bubbles together there. There we go. Adam Milton Lopez, welcome on board. Thanks for hanging out with us. There we go. All right. That's right, Lokestar. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and depart here, so we won't keep people waiting too much longer. Let's go ahead and get our lights on, and we'll taxi on and get going. We're flying offline, so I probably don't need to check final, but I'm going to do it out of habit anyway. Looks like final is clear. Boy, isn't that a surprise. Why would final be clear? Isn't this a busy airport in real life? Anyway, let's go ahead and taxi on and get going. Below the line.
Take off runway.
26 left, confirmed.
Packs are off, confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
TCAS.
TARA.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Packs.
Off.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Ready.
Affirm.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. As we hold short here, and by the way, you're probably going to see just a little bit of stuttering during the roll, because this scenery from FSDT is super heavy on frames. And by the way, somebody was asking earlier, I'm not sure who it was, about an issue with gates at Vancouver. So I'm going to get back to that because I forgot to answer that question earlier. But we'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, this airport scenery from FS Dream Team is super heavy on frames. So you might see a little bit of stuttering here. And one thing I'm going to do real quick, I'm just going to create a save point. The screen will go blank for literally like 3 seconds as I create a save point. The reason I'm going to do that is in case we have a sim crash, at least we have a place to come back to, so we can pick up the flight later. Yeah, I'm not sure why there, Micah. Again, it's probably an artifact with the scenery. Below the line. Oh, not below the line. Takeoff. Takeoff.
Check.
Okay, let's set takeoff power here. Just going to wait for the engine to stabilize. Manflex 68, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue.
Thrust set.
Checked.
$100 knots.
Checked.
V1, rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear Gear up.
Excellent!
All right, perfect timing, whoever did that. Well done. Well done. That's what the sound effects are there for. That's what they're there for. And I appreciate creative attempts to fit them into the flow of the stream as we go through the stream. Perfect. Expert pilot, kudos to you, well done. Okay, let's go thrust, climb, climb. Thrust, climb, climb.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your seatbelt fastened while the seatbelt sign is on. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are
Flap
seated.
0.
Toilets are located at each end of the
Packs are
cabin.
on. Speed check.
Remember that smoking
Flap
is
0.
not permitted at any time. This
Okay,
includes
autopilot coming on.
cigarettes.
Let's go ahead and roll our
In just
altitude
a few
selector here
moments,
up to our
we'll
cruising
commence
flight
our
level of
in-flight
250.
service, offering you the chance to purchase from our selection of fresh food available today. All details can be found in
Okay, and let's go direct to the Vancouver VOR here. And we'll proceed on course.
Together with drinks and snacks from the bar. We accept payment
After
in
takeoff,
pounds,
climb
euros,
checklist.
most major
Landing
currencies,
gear.
and debit or credit cards.
Oh,
The
Flaps.
direct change
Retracted.
would be greatly appreciated.
Packs.
And if we could be of any further assistance, further
On.
assistance, further assistance, further assistance, further assistance, further assistance, further assistance, further assistance,
Down to the line.
had a bit of a stutter there, sorry about that. Okay, and of course I forgot to move the TCAS there to on, or the transponder to on, so it says transponder standby on takeoff. Not very good, but at least I caught it after takeoff. ATC would probably have been yelling at us there. Always make sure you want to check the ECAM status page there. Should have done that. Anyway. Okay, we're turning left towards Vancouver, and we're proceeding on course here. I'm just going to very quickly, as we go into some cinematic shots there, I'm going to switch to the live ATC feed from Vancouver Center, and that's what we're going to be listening to all the way into Kelowna. So just pull that up. All right, and let's let that start playing. All right, beautiful flyby there as we climb out over British Columbia, or over the Pacific here.
Just a quick question.
All right, let me catch up on chat. Rice Cooker 2000, welcome on board. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out with us. And Rice Cooker, this is your neck of the woods, if I remember correctly, correct? You are from this part of the world. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Rice Cooker, this is going to be a...
Confirm flight level 180.
This is going to be a 30-minute flight. It's a very, very short flight from here to Kelowna.
Thank you. Roger.
Let's see. Lokestar was saying, seeing how awesome the FSLabs is, you would say the only thing they are missing was flight dynamics, something like what Majestic did. Yeah, totally there. I can't wait to see the new FSLabs Airbus in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. You know, I think that way, you know, it can take full advantage of all the kind of the dynamic sort of weather and turbulence and all that stuff. That's supposedly, right, according to public releases from Microsoft, part of the weather engine and the, you know, weather modeling in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. So it's more, unfortunately, it's one of the issues with with P3D, right? If you've seen some of my streams with the Rail Turb, you probably noticed that the FSLabs actually tends to react really, really nicely to turbulence. You know, you see the airplane being jostled around, you see the wing flexing a little bit in turbulence. Wow, look at that. That's a beautiful view. As we turn left towards the coastal mountains there. Confirm. As we turn left towards the coastal mountains there here in British Columbia. But let's see. We're over the Vancouver VOR here. We're turning left towards SEKAB, and there's the city of Vancouver. There's the airport we departed from. City of Vancouver further to the north, and then further on to the north, you've got the beautiful coastal mountains here, if I remember correctly. This is beautiful. Of course, you got a little bit of haze here that you can see kind of nestling in the mountains. That is beautiful, isn't it? It's a little bit stuttery because we're flying over some pretty dense scenery here in Vancouver. I've really lowered the autogen, but that doesn't seem to be helping a whole lot. The frame rates will improve significantly once we move away from the city of Vancouver. So at least we got that. Micah was saying you're not streaming until the A300 comes out. Yeah, Micah, that makes sense. Anyway, we'll look forward to seeing a stream for you for sure when that comes out. Confirm. Confirm.
Ladies and gentlemen, take full advantage of your tax-free allowances today.
Okay.
And make some
Clearing the
amazing
rad nav
savings
page there,
for
and Virtue 10,000, climbing up to flight level 250. Micah says your first flight is going to be Oakland to Burbank. Awesome, Micah. That should be a fun airport to fly into. I recommend the 4 Stacks Visual 1.5 at Burbank. That should be a ton of fun.
And just ask us if we join you in the cabin shortly.
Expert pilot with the fantastic use of the excellent command earlier. Well done. Kudos to you, sir. Micah says it has a cool... Yeah, it does have a cooldown there, Rice Cooker. You could probably use it in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Raptor Aviation, welcome on board. Thanks for hanging out with us. Raptor Aviation was asking how long... 1 second. Confirm. 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 Not sure why she's not picking me up there. Confirm. Yes. Why isn't she hearing? You know what? Never mind. We're just gonna ignore that. No big deal. Rapper Aviation was asking how long did it take me to learn all of the systems and whatnot of the A320. Raptor, I wouldn't call myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination, right? I still don't know all of the systems and everything, you know, especially some of the hydraulic systems, etc. I'm not that familiar, to be honest with you. But in terms of kind of the general sort of everyday aspects of flying the FSLabs A320 and dealing with some basic failures like ancient failures, you know, weave cuts, things like that. I actually don't know how long it took me. I've had this add-on for, I'd say, coming up on 2 years now, so I'm still learning every day. You know, in order to get comfortable with it, I took it on a couple of runs using the tutorial supplied by FSLabs, and that tutorial was super helpful to understand sort of the normal, you know, everyday operations aspects of flying the airplane, right? And then what I did was I took the lessons from the tutorial and I applied it to kind of flights that I made myself. You know, so I did a couple of routes, the old Virgin America routes, you know, San Francisco to San Diego, San Francisco to Seattle, Portland, you know, just up the west coast of the United States. And eventually, I got to the point where I was comfortable just not referencing the tutorial anymore and just referencing a checklist that I had for the A320. And so, yeah, it didn't take that long, to be honest. You know, probably just about 5 or 6 flights before I became fully comfortable with the systems and the logic. Although I did have mishaps every once in a while, because there are certain things that get you with the Airbus that you don't have with the Boeing. If you're used to Boeing logic when you're flying the Airbus, there's certain things that can really get you. There's certain gotcha items, like activating approach phase like that, for instance. But it probably took me 5 to 6 flights before I got comfortable with the everyday sort of day-to-day operations of flying the aircraft. And then, you know, I think I've just been constantly learning. You know, I feel like you're always learning new things, you know. And FSLabs does a pretty good job of updating the add-on, right? Beautiful views here as we climb out over the coastal mountains. Boy, that is gorgeous. This is some spectacular scenery here in British Columbia. Beautiful country you got here, there, Rice Cooker. Beautiful province is British Columbia for sure. But FSLabs does a pretty good job of adding new features to the A320. So, for instance, the most recent update, we're past through transition already there. Let's go ahead and set standard. Set standard.
Standard cross-check. Passing flight level 210.
Below the line.
Barrel rest.
Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff, climb checklist complete.
Okay, after takeoff, climb checklist complete. And I guess you already cleared copied activate to second, copied primary to secondary earlier. So let's go ahead and make sure that did in fact happen.
Now.
Yeah, she did do that earlier, so that's good. Confirm. Or checked. Okay. All right. So we've got another 16 miles to go to our top of climb, 2 minutes to go to our top of climb, and we've got another 135 miles to go to Kelowna. And we'll be arriving at Kelowna in just a short 17 plus 6, 23 minutes from now. So really, really short flight, like I said. And once we get to Kelowna, we'll figure out what our game plan is. We can either do a return leg back to Vancouver, or we can do some VFR flying on Pilot Edge in the T6 Texan in Northern California. Actually, Depends on what the weather is doing in Northern California. If it's not VFR weather, we're going to fly someplace else. If we decide to do VFR. So we'll do a poll later to figure that out. But anyway, let's hop into some cinematic shots here. Beautiful views as we climb out over the mountains. And I'll catch up on chat. Micah was saying you think the flight attendant is the one really needing further assistance. Again, I probably missed something that happened a while back. Rice Cooker is saying the sunset is awesome in real life. You also have a good view of it. Yeah, I can imagine there, Rice Cooker. You live in Vancouver proper, don't you? But beautiful, beautiful city for sure. All right, let's see. Rice Cooker was saying I'm over the city of Delta right now. Awesome, Rice Cooker. Micah was saying you love the new cinematic views of the ChasePlane update. Yeah, for sure. Those new views look fantastic. I mean, just look at this. I love the new flybys for sure. The new flybys look great as well. Will Dewey, welcome to you. Will, sorry I missed you earlier, but welcome on board. It took me about 6 minutes there, Will, to catch your message and respond to you. But I think that's a new record in terms of finally catching up on chat. It takes me a while because I like to be long-winded and unhelpful with my responses sometimes. But welcome, Will. Thanks for hanging out with us. How early is it in the UK there, Will? Loadstar says that would be awesome. Thanks for letting me know. You won't be purchasing Aerosoft this time. Yeah, for sure there, Loadstar. I think wait for the FSLabs to come out for the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. It might be a couple of years, you know, or it might be a year at least, is my guess, you know. I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope there's some kind of secret arrangement, you know, because there's a lot of NDAs, obviously, right now with the developers that Microsoft has. I wouldn't be surprised if they've already started working on something, but on the other hand, it probably is going to take a while before FSLabs releases a version of the A320 for the new flight simulator. It's probably going to be a while, unfortunately. Okay. Let's see, we've got another 40 miles to go to the top of descent, so the top of descent is coming up in a hurry. Let's go ahead and get in our information here real quick. I'm just going to pull up the MERYT at Kelowna. 1 second. Boy, not a whole lot of time to catch up on chat here because we're starting our descent here in a hurry. But once I get this information in, we should be okay. Okay, the winds are definitely favoring a landing on 3-4. 340 and 13 are the winds. 28 on the temperature. It's nice and hot in Kelowna. And temperature, or correction, altimeter rather, is 2987. Oops. 2987. Okay, alright, fantastic. And let's go ahead and put in the RNAV 34 here. Just going to pull up that approach plate on my iPad, and then I'll show you the approach plate once I have a chance. We're going to do the RNAV RNP Zulu 34 approach. So let's see. There we go, 34 Zulu. Vias, let's do the Ambat Via. Let's go to temporary flight plan. Let's make sure there's no discos here. No, everything's looking good. Okay, temporary insert. Sim pause just for a second there as we came up within 20 nautical miles or top of descent, and I'm going to put in the distance altitude there, 1,806 feet. Okay. All right. Got all that in. 34 miles to go to our top of descent there. Let me just very quickly go ahead and put all these numbers in up here. It's going to be a RNP approach. 1 second. There it is. Okay, final approach fix is Savo, which will be crossed at 3,200 feet. And minimums, once again, 1,806. Okay, we got that in. Fantastic. All right, we'll do our approach brief as we initiate our descent here in just a few minutes. Let me go ahead and roll my altitude selector down to the altitude at which we want to cross Ambat, 8,000 feet, in anticipation of initiating our descent in the next 4 minutes, or actually 3 minutes here. Okay, fantastic. Beautiful views here, truly spectacular. Okay, let me catch up on chat. Micah was saying earlier, yeah, there are so many opportunities for great screenshots here. I mean, look at this. You know, you got the fog kind of, not the fog, but the mist rather. You know, you got the haze kind of nestling in the valleys. And that's what makes this flight between Vancouver and Kelowna so beautiful. Actually, you know, any flight over this part of British Columbia is just absolutely gorgeous. So if you do a flight out of Vancouver or to Vancouver from Edmonton or Calgary, you get the same sort of spectacular views. It's just one of the most scenic places in the world to fly, especially this time of day, right? But boy, I got to tell you, I'm super jealous of folks that get to do this in real life. You know, those WestJet and Air Canada pilots and the pilots for all the feeder, you know, sort of airlines and carriers, right, the regional carriers that fly in this part of the world, boy, am I super jealous that they get to do this every day. It's such a spectacular place to fly for sure. Wow, look at that. Especially with the half moon there. Wow, that's beautiful. Rice Cooker says, oof, voice recognition is being a dodo. It's always a dodo there, Rice Cooker. Voice recognition is always difficult. Micah says you've done the 4 stacks in real life. Yeah, I saw a video on your channel there, Micah, of the 4 stacks. That looks super awesome for sure. And you've also done it in the sim. That's awesome, Micah. Hirthik, welcome on board. You don't have to ask if I remember you. Of course I remember you. Welcome on board. Thanks for hanging out with us today, Hirthik. And once again, it took me about, let's see, 6 + 3, 9 minutes to catch up with Hirthik's message earlier. So I'm far, far beyond a chat here. Expert pilot says flight simmers must be the best pilots ever because they're type rated on every airplane ever. Expert pilot, I think flight simmers think they're experts on everything. You know, I gotta tell you, the one thing that always annoys me, this isn't true of all flight simmers. You know, most flight simmers are smart enough to know they don't understand everything, right? But sometimes you see some flight simmers who, for whatever reason, hop on the channels of real-world pilots and they start telling real-world pilots what to do and what they're doing wrong. And it's like, dude, how do you think, you know, do you think you know anything to be able to tell a real-world pilot what to do and what not to do? But you actually see that sometimes, you know, it gives flight simmers a bad name. But it's pretty funny. Let's see. Raptor Aviation says, midnight for you. No worries there, Raptor. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next time. Will Dewey says, just about before 5 a.m., lovely sunrise outside of your window. That's awesome, Will. Well, good morning to you. Hope you're enjoying the sunrise. Hope you're having some coffee. Hope you were able to indulge or pick up a bag of Kona coffee somewhere in your part of the world. Either case, hope you're enjoying the sunrise, and thanks for hanging out with us for sure there, Will. Expert Pilot says, stop at descent already. Yeah, that is the story of my life, Expert Pilot. I tend to pick the super short routes, and so top of descent is upon us in no time. Okay, initiating our descent. And let's go ahead and start getting some lights on here. It's getting pretty dark. We're moving east, obviously, away from the setting sun. So we'll get the overhead light on. Let's get the glare shield lights on there as well. And let's go ahead and get some of the integrated lighting on the pedestal and the center console. And let's get a little bit of the flood lighting on as well. I'm gonna do the same thing up here. Let's get the map light on. That way,
all systems have been alerted to your presence.
Things look a little bit better. All right, who tried the Lokestar with ATC? Well done there, Lokestar. Let's see. Actually, I wanted to see if I could point out. Oh yeah, so we've got a couple other commands that I could show you folks. So we've got this one, no explanation needed.
Oh, crikey!
we've got. Of course, we've got this one, right? I think I mentioned this one earlier. By the way, these are all in a cool down, so it's going to take at least another 3 minutes before anybody can use the ones that I'm using right now. We've got this one. Let's see. That's another one we have.
That's pretty good.
As we continue our descent here, let me go back to some cinematic shots, and I'm going to play just a couple more of these so you know what they are. Oh, and this one, let me explain this one.
I tried calling, but they don't have a listing for Mr. Wonderful.
What spelling did you use?
So, those of you Caddyshack fans probably recognize that. That was the great Chevy Chase, of course. And I figured, you know, some of you folks like to give me compliments every once in a while. And so if you'd like to, is that you, DJ? The Mr. Wonderful quote. The Mr. Wonderful quote from Caddyshack always cracks me up. What spelling did you use? Oh, and I forgot this one. This one is worth showing as well, or worth hearing as well. This is from The Simpsons.
That's a negatory, good buddy.
That's a negatory, good buddy. So we got that as well. There's plenty of opportunities to use these. Oh, and of course we've got this one. I'm having far too much fun with these. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
There we go. Oh, and one last one I want to show you. I should have showed this to you at the beginning of the stream, actually. But folks that are signing off, you know, I often miss people signing off because it takes me a while to catch up on chat. So if people are saying goodbye, feel free to use exclamation mark see ya.
Hasta la vista, baby.
So that's The Simpsons. And of course, we've also got, what is the right one for this? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So we've also got a more formal version of that. And by more formal, I mean this.
Hasta la vista, baby.
So you've got two options for Hasta la Vista when you're signing off, in case I miss you. Oh, and in case you feel like I'm doing anything that's you feel like I'm showing off, we've also got this one, right?
Excuse me while I whip this out.
That's Blazing Saddles, of course. Mel Brooks, amazing movie. Oh, and one last one. We've got this. Anybody ask what's going on in chat, just feel
everything's under control, situation normal.
Feel free to use exclamation mark setrep. So we've got no end of these, folks. We've got tons of these. Okay, all right. Let's do our approach briefing here, because we've been going on for far too long. Let me reset my altimeter 2987. Are you ready for the approach brief?
Ready.
Okay, the weather at Kelowna. Winds are out of the north today, 340 at 13 knots. They're directly down the runway that we're going to land on. Visibility 9 statute miles. Clear skies, temperature 28, dew point 12, altimeter is 2987. And we're going to be arriving via the... I'm going to catch up on chat here there. Will, I totally recommend Kona Coffee for sure. But once you get it, trust me, you're going to be addicted. It is one of the best kinds of coffees you're ever going to find, for sure. 1 second here. I'm just going to pull up the right charts just so we have that. Okay. Okay, let me switch, oops, actually, let me pull this up here. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the Chrome window on screen so you can see it. Okay, so we're going to be arriving with the SEKAB 4 arrival today. So SEKAB to Almum at or above 9,800, onto Pilma. Pilma onto Vivek above 9,500, maximum speed 210 knots at Vivek. Right turn to Vilmo. Vilmo onto Ambat, maximum speed 210 knots at 8,000 feet. And, let's see, safe altitude within 100 nautical miles is 12,500 feet. Okay. And at Ambat, we're going to transition at the RNP Zulu 34 approach. So let's brief the approach late here. RNAV approach, final approach course 339 degrees. From Ambat at a mandatory altitude of 8,000 feet, maximum speed 210 knots onto Pendo. Pendo, left turn onto Zudvo, maximum speed 190 knots onto Botet. By the way, this is a fun, challenging approach, right? You can see it's a super twisty, turny approach into the Kelowna Valley here. This is beautiful. Actually, I'm not sure if it's called the Kelowna Valley or a different valley. Either case, this valley that the airport sits in, this is a spectacular approach for sure. Really beautiful, and the winds are kicking up, and I've got real turb, so we're going to notice a bit of turbulence, quite likely on approach. Anyway, Botet onto Zubom, Zubom onto Rokta, Rokta down to Savup. Savup is the final approach point, cross at 2,200 feet. Onto Vobak. At Vobak, we're going to intercept the RNAV glide path there, 3.1 degree glide path, down to runway 34. Decision altitude, 1,806 feet. Visibility minimum, 1.5 statute miles. Right? Yeah. Actually, that's for an RMP 0.1. That's 1.5 statute miles. So obviously, that's a performance we need in the RMP system. And let me know in case I'm misreading it and the Airbus does not have that kind of navigational accuracy. I think it does, but I might be mistaken. Airport elevation is 1,420 feet, and the MSA within 25 nautical miles of the runway 34 threshold is 8,800 feet. In case we need to go missed, we're going to climb on a track at 339 degrees to Otpuff, then a climbing right turn to 8,000 feet on a track of 020 to Leonard, and as required, will shuttle climb. Requires a minimum climb gradient of 400 feet per nautical mile to 5,200 feet. Okay, and this is where we come to the notes section. The notes section for this approach is absolutely insane. We've got far too many notes to go through here, but essentially it's a restricted instrument procedure, authorization required, RF required, procedure requires RMP 0.2 at least, uncorrected final approach point crossing altitude may cause GPWS warnings below 23 degrees Fahrenheit, safe altitude 12,500 feet, aircraft weight shall not be greater than that necessary to meet the published climb gradient on the missed approach. Boy, we've got all kinds of things here. We're not going to go through everything, obviously, because we're in flight sim, but you can go through this at your leisure. There's a lot of notes on this approach. Okay, all right, we're going to be landing flaps full today, auto brake setting of medium. Actually, we'll do an auto brake setting of low. We've got an 8,900 foot runway. And let's see, what is our final approach speed going to be? 134 knots. All right. 134 knot final approach speed. And once we land, we're going to exit quite likely Bravo if we can get it. Otherwise, we'll exit on Alpha. Correction, we'll exit on Foxtrot and then take Alpha. No, we'll exit on Bravo if we can, otherwise we'll take Alpha and then taxi via Delta out of the terminal. And we'll shut down. Obviously, taxi to one of the gates of the terminal, shut down. So that is our plan. That's our approach brief. 1 second here. Let me just go ahead and hide the chrome window.
We will shortly be landing.
Any questions?
No questions.
455, send maintain 12,000, hope altimeter
2987 set. Approach checklist.
987 set. Passing 9,500. Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Seatbelts.
The toilets are no longer
On.
Barrel ref.
2987 set.
2987 set. Minimum.
1,806 feet set.
Now.
Set and checked.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
Okay, approach checklist complete. We're through 10,000 feet. Landing lights have come on. Boy, the approach briefing took a while there. We're already below 10,000 feet. But we're turning left or right now towards, let's see, Vilmo, then on to Ambot. At Ambot, we're going to be cleared. Let's assume we've been cleared the RNAV Zulu 34 at Ambot. So I'm going to roll my altitude selector here down to the decision altitude of 1,806 feet. 1,800 feet. Because we don't have an increment or 1 feet there, or 6 feet there. So 1,800. All right, there we go. Actually, you know what? We're going to roll this down to, let's say 3,200 actually. And then we'll set our missed approach altitude once we actually intercept the VNAV path. Okay, fantastic. All right, continuing our descent here. And it is a little hazy here, coming up on Kelowna, as you can see. But still, beautiful views nonetheless. The sun has it set already? No, the sun is still above the horizon there. But beautiful sunset here in eastern British Columbia. Okay, let me catch up on chat here. Lokestar, I was laughing earlier because Lokestar was saying you can, and you can add your own Kona coffee brand as well, something like DJ Farms. I'm liking that idea, Lokestar. I could totally picture myself as a coffee farmer, or not a coffee farmer, but at least a coffee reseller, right? DJ's Beans, right? DJ's Beans. There we go. Let's see. Micah, I like that idea. I missed that earlier. Micah was saying we need to add some kind of sound effect where we can play when I go to get more Kona coffee. I need to think about that. We definitely need a sound effect for that, for sure. We definitely need a sound effect for that. I'm just going to very quickly go through my list here. Actually, one sound effect that I forgot to mention earlier was this one right here. And I'm going to explain this one in a second.
Visual aids help so much. Thank you.
Obviously, this one should make sense, right? That's in reference to
132.35.
Let's go ahead and arm the approach mode there. Okay, final approach. Flaps 1.
Speed check. Flaps 1.
slow down here to, let's see.
422 Vancouver Center, good evening.
190 for now.
34 in Kelowna, this is Romeo. Would you like direct
So the visual aids one was obviously in reference to the fact that every once in a while I'll have charts on screen, or Sky Vector if you're doing some GA flying, or ForeFlight, or my iPad screen mirrors. So if you feel like I'm giving you a lot of dense information without the appropriate visual aids, that is something you can use for that. That, of course, is pretty good. I've actually got to bump up the volume on that sound effect because that one is a bit low. But that's a pretty funny one.
Vancouver Center, good evening. That's 1541.
Let me see if I missed. I know I missed a ton of chat here. Will was saying you need to try some Kona coffee, and I need to get some form of sponsorship considering how much it's promoted. There you go. I totally agree with there, Will. I agree with that. I think the state of Hawaii, the state government of Hawaii needs to consider all the business, the flight sim traffic that I'm directing their way with everything that's with all my talk at Kona Coffee. Oh, and of course, I think those of you who, speaking of coffee, whenever I think coffee, I think Seattle and I think Fraser, of course. I'm a big Fraser fan, for those of you who know, who've been following my streams for a while. Of course we had to have that one.
Dr. Fraser Crane. I'm listening.
So that one's a bit obscure, but given that I was a Fraser fan, I was like, there's no way I'm not having that one. And I had far too much fun with this, in case you can't tell. I had far too much fun. Oh, and I'm a huge Seinfeld fan as well, so we've got Jackie Childs here. I think you know what's coming, if you're a Seinfeld.
Totally inappropriate. Lewd, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
So, Will, I picked that sound effect with you in mind, because if you remember, the stream a couple of weeks ago went a little bit off the rails, and there was a bit of swearing on stream. So if you ever feel like I'm getting inappropriate with my language on stream, there you go. Hit me with the exclamation mark outrage. It's lewd, lascivious, salacious, outrageous. Jackie Childs from Seinfeld. Incomparable. That was one of the funniest episodes of Seinfeld, by the way. So we got that. I've got far too many of these. I've got far too many. Rice Cooker 2000 was saying it's called the Kelowna Valley. Okay, thanks for that. That's what I thought it was called, but I was like, it can't be that easy, right? It can't be that easy. But thanks for confirming that. Okay, so we're in the valley itself. We're on that really nice twisty, turny, curvy RNAV approach to runway 34. Beautiful views of the valley. And fsimstudios, by the way, I think all the scenery here is photoreal, yeah? It looks like photoreal scenery. This is a beautiful scenery package from fsimstudios for sure. I really do like this one. And with all the lights coming on here, as the sun sets, it does look pretty, for sure. Okay, I can see the runway up ahead. You know, just to be on the safe side here, I'm going to go ahead and disable the GPWS terrain alerts. Don't need those anymore because I got a visual.
127.3, good day. 127.3, Alaska 973, good night.
Let's see. Micah was asking, did I curse last stream? I cursed about 2 or 3 streams ago there, Micah. It was unavoidable. We had, I had a lot of internet issues that caused some lag in the ATC audio, so we had that last time. All right, we're coming up here on going to our final approach speed pretty quickly, actually. Let's go ahead and set our missed approach altitude. Missed approach altitude is 5,200 feet. And I'll go to manage speed as soon as I've done that. Okay, let's go into manage speed mode there. Flaps 2.
Speed checked.
Gear down.
Flaps 2.
Auto brake set to low there. Okay, but beautiful approach this. Like, if it wasn't so hazy, you'd see just how spectacular the scenery is. But this is a beautiful approach for sure.
Final approach fix 3200 feet.
Checked. I do indeed, expert pilot. I love challenging approaches. Flaps 3.
Speed check. Flaps 3.
Flaps full.
Speed check. Flaps full.
Landing
Sink brake.
checklist.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
1,000.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing checklist complete.
Okay, landing checklist complete. I had to take it off autopilot there because we were diving there and I didn't want that to continue diving. And we'll take it off flight directors here in a second once I'm lined up. Okay, we're off autopilot. Flying it in manually.
Canada 250, Vancouver Center, proceed direct.
Flight directors off, bird on. Okay, flight directors are off. We got the bird on, and looks like we've got a slight crosswind there, actually. Winds are coming in at about 10 degrees to the runway there. 32. Oh, it's shifting, actually. It's probably going to come in straight down the runway once we touch down, is my guess. The winds aloft are slightly different from the surface winds, obviously.
With train, direct 14 John, is flight level 220 Whiskey.
Okay, let me focus on landing here.
100 above.
But this is a beautiful little airport from FSimstudios. They did a pretty nice rendition of it. They've got some really nice dynamic lighting that we're going to see in a lot more detail once we start taxiing in.
Ship 455, send maintain 7,000. 7,000, West Ship 455.
Whoop, a little bit of a updraft there. Ended up a little high. We'll get back. I told you I've got rail turb installed for this part of the world, so but we're doing okay.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Perfect timing there, whoever did that.
40, 30, 20, retard 5.
Oh, crikey.
Boy, those sound effects are starting to sound like a mistake. Although that landing worked out okay. It felt pretty nice and soft.
5 to send maintain 17,000. Key Vancouver altimeter 29993. Check 2993 to send and maintain 17,000 for ship 195.
Perfect. I love it. All right, I love it.
70 knots.
327.
See, I knew I was going to find a reason to regret the sound effects. Well done, folks. Well done. I appreciate your creativity, if not your timing. I appreciate the creativity, at least. All right, let's go and taxi off onto Alpha here. I probably, if I got an auto brake medium on there, I probably could have. I probably could have gotten Bravo earlier, but we'll take Alpha, no problem. And we'll taxi down Delta. Alpha to Delta, Delta down the terminal. Okay, and what I'm going to do here, before we actually start taxiing in, I am going to get my speed brake in first of all. I am going to do a poll real quick so I can figure out what we want to do next. So here are the two options. Number one, option one is we can fly back to Vancouver from Kelowna. You saw what a short flight it was 30 minutes. Whoops. Super sensitive there with the nose wheel steering. But we can fly back to Vancouver from Kelowna, and we can deal with horrible frame rates and stuttering once we get to Vancouver. Or we can do a VFR flight in Northern California, depending on what the weather is doing in Northern California. If the weather's not good, we'll fly in Southern California. So I'm thinking either Half Moon Bay to Monterey if you've got VFR weather. Actually, you know what? I can set VFR weather, so it's no big deal. I can set VFR weather. So, okay, we'll fly Half Moon Bay to Monterey. So that's option two. Option one is a return leg to Vancouver. Option two is a GA flight from here in Kelowna to Vancouver. Return of... Oh, no. Option two, God, I'm not thinking straight. Option two is a GA flight in the T6 Texan from Half Moon Bay to Monterey in California. So that's what I'm thinking of. What I'm going to do here as we taxi down the runway is I'm going to pull up my Streamlabs bot, and let's see if I can get the poll feature working. So that way all of you can vote on this. So, let's see, next flight. All right, and I'm going to put in option one, return leg to CYVR. Okay, I'm going to add that, and we're going to use the timer here. I'm going to have a 3-minute poll, and option two is trying to taxi the same time that I'm getting this information in for the poll, which is tricky. Option two is GA flight to... Careful there, your messages are going to get deleted if you use the wrong commands. Try exclamation mark commands to see what commands are available. I haven't listed them all, but most of them should come out. GA flight to... yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, Will. I'm personally thinking of VFR as well, because I'd like to... but, you know, I'm going to leave it up to the audience. So, and I'm going to have a veto on it, obviously. So GA flight to, let's see, California. In NorCal. Okay. All right, I'm going to add that, and let's go ahead and start the poll. Hopefully this works. I don't know. I've never tried the poll feature yet in the Streamlabs chatbot, so hopefully this works. If it works, there you go. So you can get in your options for the poll there. So put in 0 for a return leg to Vancouver, and put in 1 for a GA flight to NorCal. So put in exclamation mark vote and put in the ID. So exclamation mark vote 0 for a return to Vancouver, or exclamation mark vote 1 for a GA flight in Northern California. You got to put in exclamation mark vote for that to work. I'm going to put in my vote as well. I'm not supposed to vote, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, it looks like I know what's going to win already. Rice Cooker, I'm so sorry. But we will do some more flying in Canada for sure there, Rice Cooker. Once the new Microsoft Flight Simulator comes out, I'm going to do a lot of flying in British Columbia, because, oh boy, I can't wait to do that. That is going to be super fun.
Canada 228, contact Vancouver Center now 134.5.
And let me make sure this is working, by the way. Okay, that's working. It's working. And I'm going to show you the votes, right? Shipwreck, welcome, Shipwreck. I didn't know you were online. But thanks for hanging out with us, Shipwreck. I hope you're doing fantastic.
So it should be a good ride for you tonight.
All right. Did I hear a Singaporean accent on ATC there? Sounded kind of Singaporean. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? I am trying to taxi in here to this gate, right? I'm not paying a whole lot of attention to what I'm doing, which is, ooh, a little bit of stuttering here, which I don't like. This scenery is usually pretty good on frames in the daytime. It must be the dynamic lights here. So, apologies for the stuttering. Will, I think I might have influenced the audience. Yeah. Actually, Will, you know what? Hey, don't blame me for this. You moderators influence the audience. The moderators are supposed to be neutral. You moderators started that. So, I mean, as a streamer, I probably shouldn't have encouraged it, but the moderators started it, and you are the bad influence. The moderators are. I just saw that the moderators were saying VFR, and I was like, I'm going to jump in.
Lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Perfect, perfect. There you go. Will, this is why I thought of you when I made that command. Perfect. Perfect. I love it. Shipwreck, no worries. Thanks for hanging out with us for sure. Looking like a landslide result. Indeed it is. Okay, so I already know what the result is going to be, so we'll do some replays. That's the reason I didn't clean up the airplane. If we were returning to Vancouver, I was like, you know, I probably would have cleaned up the airplane. So I am sorry about that, Rice Cooker.
Pretty good.
But GA flying it is. One of the nice things about doing GA flying, for those of you who haven't done a lot of GA flying in real life, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to actually talk about VFR sectionals a little bit. That way you get a sense of, you know, at least some of the airspace around Northern California. Not the super busy Class Bravo stuff where I do a lot of my flying, but some of the outer lying areas, like Class Charlie around Monterey, and the shelf of the Bravo around Half Moon Base. So we'll do that for sure. So let me check on the status of the poll, because I feel like I'm still influencing the poll. Has the poll finished yet? Let's see. The poll is finished, right? So winning votes, GA flight in NorCal won with 7 votes. And unfortunately, there was only 1 vote there for return leg to Vancouver. CC Aviation, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you later. Logstar says, caught red-handed mods. There you go. It's the mods' fault. When in doubt, blame the mods, right? All right, let's do some replays here. Let's see. Did I want to pull in any other... I was trying to see if there was any other Oh, I've got the one last thing here. I've got one last command I want to show you. Actually, I've got too many to show you, but I've got one I want to show you right now. Where is that? Where is it? There was a command here I wanted to show. Oh, there we go. This one.
Runway 26 left.
This is the Brooklyn 99 music. I've always loved it.
Continue descent 10,000. 10,000, 2993 and 26 left. Windshield 455, contact Afterward Tower now, 1194.
That should have been our before takeoff clip there. Audio clip. Ready to go. Exclamation mark, ready to go. That's the Brooklyn 99 theme song. Okay, let's see what this landing looked like in the replay. Probably wasn't the best landing. I feel like I saved it. You know, so I mentioned I had real turb, so I felt like I had an updraft about 100 feet over the runway, and then I felt like I had a bit of a downdraft where I was coming down a bit too quickly. When in doubt, blame the airplane and blame the winds, right? And blame the turbulence. But I definitely had an updraft on short final. And then I started descending a bit too quickly, and I had to really, really get into the flare. And I think I barely saved it from a hard landing there. So we'll see how that looked like in external view, of course. Lockstar says that 7-1 reminds you of when you play. Thanks for that, Micah. I'm going to hide it. Ooh, I did save it, actually. I totally did save that one. That actually worked out really nicely. Yeah, that was a really nice flare. Excuse me. Yeah, perfect. You guys are learning already. See, as a streamer, I couldn't hope for better. You guys are using the sound effects exactly the way you should be, so I'm loving it. I'm loving it today. I am loving it. The show off one was perfect. Excuse me while I whip this out. That, of course, was from Blazing Saddles. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. It is a touchstone comedy classic. One of the best comedies ever made, in my opinion. Just absolutely awesome. Okay, excuse me while I whip this out. You're going to have another opportunity to use that in Tower View. Rice Cooker says we are your children. No, I'm the child here. I'm the child. I apparently have too much of a affiliation in old movie quotes. So I'm the child here. You guys are the adults who are watching a streamer. Anyway, let's see what this. See, that worked out quite nicely, actually. I'm surprised because I flared. You know, probably started my flare about 10 feet there. So that worked out really nicely. Just keeping your ego in check, DJ. There you go. There you go. We could always use that. We could always use that. You know what? I'm going to create a command that lists the most frequently used sound commands. Okay, let's do a wing view here. Which side of the airplane do we want to do a wing view from? Let's do a wing view from this side. Actually, wait. We'll do two remote replays. We'll do a wing view, and then we'll do a gear, belly replay. But boy, this looks nice. By the way, out of curiosity, what are your folks' opinions on the? Oops. Let me go ahead and. Let me go ahead and shut down. Shut down.
311 Vancouver Center. It's information November now. Runway 26 in Vancouver. Let's pick up November. Check the 26s there. Canada.
Shut down Sim Toolkit Pro here, so that is not doesn't keep recording the flight. Okay, close that off. And let's take a look at this replay. Rice Cooker, that's right. Yeah, I think that's a better comparison. There you go. Oh my God, Nicholas Cock earlier with a nice. Yeah, there you go. Micah says, I don't want to be mean, but I notice sometimes, Micah, I don't think it's me personally. I think it's my Streamlabs audio filters. I think it's picking up certain sounds that I'm making that way. So I think it's my Streamlabs audio filters, Micah. That's my guess, because I've noticed other people have asked me that question. I think it's my Streamlabs audio filters more than anything else.
RNAV on runway 27.
Let's make a run for it. I'm gonna look that up, Micah. Where did I above? That was above Loke Stars. Let's make a run for it. Comment.
That's 100,000 or above. Right, active pass at 9,000 or above. Descend and maintain 4,000 for wish at 195. Roger, I didn't hear if you had Quebec or not, but we recently
that's pretty funny. I did miss that there, Micah. Sorry about that.
Okay, I'll be here once you...
Beautiful part of the world, isn't it, this? Rice Cooker, you are super lucky to be living up here in Vancouver. By the way, those of you who are wondering, Vancouver, actually, maybe you're not wondering this, so a bit of trivia, actually, because you may not know this. Vancouver is like Hollywood North, right? So many TV shows are shot in Vancouver, and a lot of movies are shot up there, too. So Vancouver, it's just a beautifully scenic place for a lot of TV shows and movies. All right, we'll do one last replay here from Bellycam. So let's scroll back.
4413 Vancouver Centre, good evening to
okay,
you.
Where is that view?
Coming into my airspace, just clicking the bottom left corner there. I have
all right, let's do this view.
You, so you can continue with San Francisco wearing Con 8 chat. Good day. Well, do thank you, Dan. 4413. Good talking to you. Bye-bye.
I love her accent, by the way, the controller on Vancouver Center. I'm trying to place it. It sounds like a Singaporean or Malaysian accent to me. I'm trying to place... Actually, it might be a Hong Kong accent. I'm not sure. Anybody know what that accent is from the controller on Vancouver Center there? I mean, obviously, you know, she sounds very... you know, the accent is, you know, is anglicized, obviously, right? Because it's clear that she spent a lot of time in Canada. But there is like a hint of a Singaporean or Malaysian accent to me there. Wondering if you guys are picking that up on that as well. But I love that accent. Singapore is a wonderful country to visit. Okay, let's see what this one looked like. Here's another opportunity to use exclamation mark show off or exclamation mark outrage if you feel like I'm getting outrageous with the showing off here. Ooh. There we go. That actually worked out quite nicely. Although, as usual, the nose wheel steering was, or the...
while I whip this out.
There you go. Excuse me. I'm never gonna get tired of that. Any opportunity to use a Blazing Saddles quote is worth it in my book. Okay, all right, that was our last replay, folks. Does anybody want to look at Micah? No worries at all. Will, I did in fact. So somebody was asking that earlier. I got a little bit of flying in on Sunday, so I didn't stream on Sunday because I had a bunch of other things going on. But I got a little bit of flying, just some local, you know, flying in on Sunday. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Okay, let's go ahead here and I'm going to go ahead and stop the ATC audio. Whoops. Let's go ahead and disable the ChasePlane replay there. And one thing I want to do real quick, because I always like to do this, I think you folks know, before we turn off, I have to turn off P3D and turn it back on, by the way, because if I load up the T6 Texan in my current you know, state of P3D, this P3D is just going to crash. So I'm going to have to close P3D, and unfortunately we're going to have to wait about 10 minutes for it to start back up for a GA flight. But the GA flight is going to be really short. It's going to be 30 minutes to Monterey, California. So one thing I want to do real quick is I wanted to show you folks the scenery. I think you know I always like to do that.
Totally inappropriate. Lewd, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Lewd, lascivious, salacious, outrageous. Jackie Childs, man, it was one of the best characters, one of the best guest actors, guest characters ever on Seinfeld. But the scenery does look pretty awesome, doesn't it? There's a Kelowna Airport sign. Look at all the cars in the parking lot. The frames are really, really good for the number of cars you have in the parking lot there. You guys are having far too much fun with the sound effects, which is exactly what I was hoping for. That's exactly what I was hoping for. But you got a Tim Hortons there. All right. You got a, what is that? The sign is kind of washed out there. You can't really see it. Anyway, there's departures. WestJet Air North operates out of here, right? That kind of makes sense. And you got Transat as well, of course. That's interesting. Wow, look at that. I love the logo here. That's a beautiful logo for the Kelowna International Airport. That's a really nice logo. And what are these flags? So you've got, is that the flag of British Columbia there on the left? I'm not sure. Of course, you've got the Maple Leaf A, By the way, the next time we do a stream featuring Canada, we'll probably head up to Quebec. And I've already got a funny idea for the name. So I think you noticed the name of this stream is Yes, I Canada. Those of you Toy Story fans might have remembered the quote from, what's his name? Oh my God, what's the Keanu Reeves was playing the Evel Knievel type motorcycle stunt rider in Toy Story 4. What was the name of oh my God, I'm forgetting the name of the character. What was the name of that character that Keanu Reeves had in Toy Story 4? But remember, he had that famous quote, right? Yes, I Canada. So that's where that came from. Since I figure it's the first stream where we're featuring Canada. Yes, I Canada makes sense. But when we do a stream in Quebec, that stream is going to be titled, how do you say A in French? I think I already know the answer, but how do you say A in French is going to be the title of our Quebec stream whenever we do that. But this is a super nice scenery for sure. It's really, really good. Just wanting to see if there's anything else we want to look at. One of the nice things about the dynamic lighting here, by the way, the dynamic lighting isn't just for the terminal. It actually extends all the way to the GA lots and as well for some of the parking lots and some of the hangars and back here, which is really, really cool. You know, usually most senior developers don't bother having dynamic lighting this far away from the terminal, but I like that. You know, the performance isn't too bad, all things considered. So there you go. Duke Kaboom. There you go, Lokestar. Thanks for that. I totally forgot about that, but Duke Kaboom. Rice Cooker says, let's go down to Hortons and get a double-double. There you go there, Rice Cooker. Totally. Okay, folks, say goodbye to beautiful British Columbia. Sorry there, Lokestar, but we will return to Canada. We will return to your beautiful province of British Columbia for sure in a future stream, especially when the new Microsoft Flight Simulator comes out. For sure, we're going to do that. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I am going to shut down P3D here. Let me switch to the Be Right Back screen. I am going to be right here with you. But just going to switch to that screen while I shut down P3D. And we're going to reload P3D again, obviously. By the way, one thing I want to do, while P3D is closing, in fact, I can actually go to my desktop capture scene. Give me 1 second here to make sure P3D is all the way closed. Ola Akin, welcome on board. Ola was saying the Orbex Kelowna scenery looks better. Ola, I'm not sure Orbex has a Kelowna scenery. I've never seen a Kelowna scenery from Orbex. By the way, Ola, the scenery that Orbex has on their website, that's from fsimstudios. That's actually from fsimstudios. So they're reselling, you know, they're a distributor now. You know, kind of like Aerosoft is, or SimMarket is, they're a distributor for Kelowna scenery, or other developer sceneries like, you know, Pilots Plus, etc. So they're also distributing some of the fsimstudios scenery. Okay, one thing I wanted to do here real quick. Let me just go ahead and show you my desktop here real quick because I wanted to show you something. This is going to be the subject of a future stream. And I think you guys will really enjoy this. So 1 second, let me just pull up this application while we wait for P3D to load back up. And I think you folks are probably going to be super excited for this one. This is going to be the subject of a stream over the weekend. I've been promising this for months, and I think it's finally time it happened. So we are going to do this either Saturday or Sunday this weekend, depending on which day it works for me. We're not going to do a full stream just focused purely on Condor. This, of course, is the glider soaring simulator that I've been talking about for months now. I love using this. I've been using this for years. Condor 2 just came out about a couple of years ago, I think. There used to be a Condor 1. But this is a fantastic scenery, or a fantastic glider simulator that we're going to be using pretty soon. So there you go, desktop scene. Hopefully it was showing earlier. But anyway, this is what we're going to be featuring next time. I've got Nephi, Utah loaded up in here. So Micah, we're going to be doing some glider flying in Utah. So that's going to be super fun. We're going to do a stream featuring Condor either Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to spend at least an hour or an hour and a half in Condor. We'll mix it up, of course. You know, we'll do some GA flying in Paired or in X-Plane 11. Or just some normal airliner, tubeliner type flying. And we're also going to do Condor. So we're going to start with Condor, and then we're going to, once that's done, once we've spent enough time on Condor, we'll do another one. Not another one, rather, but another, you know, a regular stream and a tubeliner, either X-Plane or Prepared. But Condor is going to be a lot of fun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you folks a full introduction to Condor, because I am a glider aficionado, a sailplane soaring aficionado in real life. I just love soaring. So I am going to have a lot of fun walking you folks through all the features of Condor, and we'll do a flight in Condor, some soaring, and we'll have some fun. So that's our plan for the weekend. Just wanted to give you folks a preview of some of the upcoming content that we have on the DJ Aviator channel. All right, let's go ahead and load P3D back up. I'm going to go back to the B-Right screen. I'm going to stay here. Rice Cooker is back to making his burgers. That is awesome, Rice Cooker. Make our mouths water for sure. VX Free Flight Productions, welcome on board, VX. VX was asking, what's up? Where are we headed next? VX, let me go ahead and update my stream title here. Give me 1 second. We're going to do some GA flying in Northern California. So let me very quickly go ahead and update my stream title here, so that that reflects that accurately. Let's see, T6 Texan flight in NorCal. There we go. So that's what our next flight is going to be. Let me go ahead and save that, and hopefully the stream title, in fact, does update. Yeah, there you go. It actually did update. That's fantastic. Okay, it's going to take about... I'm going to say 5 to 10 minutes at least, folks. At least 5 minutes, possibly up to 10 minutes before we're all loaded up and ready to go in the sim here for our VFR flight in Northern California. While that's going on, let me very quickly check on the weather at Half Moon Bay. It's definitely not VFR conditions, but what we're going to do is we're going to set a VFR. And we're going to set VFR conditions, obviously, and we're going to fly offline. I wish I had FS Cloud or something. One thing I could do is hop on VATSIM and do a VFR flight with folks. If anybody wants to join in on a group VFR flight from Half Moon Bay to Monterey in Northern California with me, and I can talk through the airspace and everything in that part of the world, feel free to let me know and I can hop on VATSIM. But I am going to be using, some custom weather there, obviously. Let's see. That's right, Will. Although the amount of time I'm spending some time here looking up some historical weather that makes sense. So I'm trying to find a date with some good weather in Half Moon Bay and Monterey. Northern California, especially the Bay Area, is a place of microclimates. For those of you who don't know, we could have perfectly clear weather in South Bay. Beautiful sunny skies. And it could be a really nice warm day actually in Silicon Valley and South Bay, but if you go up to San Francisco, the fog could be rolling in. It could be a little chilly, in fact. So we had a lot of microclimates in Northern California. So that's why I want to find the historical weather here at Half Moon Bay, and hopefully you can find a good day. Let's see. KHF METAR history. There we go. Just very quickly going to pull this up, see if I can find some historical weather. You know what? Let's do this. I'm just going to go to weather.com. I could probably show you my Chrome window so you guys can see what I've got going on here. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm just going to go to the right back screen. Never mind. Micah is just more of a, I have more time over the week, I have a little bit more time on some of the weeknights, not all my weeknights, but just, some of the weeknights like midweek, like Wednesday, maybe Thursday some days, I have a bit more time. So, it's just basically for those days I'm doing this. Let's see, how do I find historical weather? There's a way to do this. Okay, there we go. The 7th of July looked like it was a date that might work for us. So let's try that. I'm going to go to the 7th of July. I'm going to go that time, and let's see if that weather looked good. So the Active Sky is downloading that weather. The sim is still loading. It's taking a while, unfortunately. Yeah, it was clear skies, but the winds were really gusting, so that's not a good day for it. We could just do a clear skies preset, actually, or fair weather preset, No need to mess around with real weather. I'm just going to try one last ditch thing here. Let's try the 11th, see if that was better. If not, we'll just VX is saying a little wind shear doesn't hurt either. When you're flying tailwheel, a little wind shear can hurt a lot. When you're flying tailwheel airplanes, which are really, really tricky to handle in higher winds, a little wind, especially at, gusty winds, can really, really be tricky to fly into. Especially, see, in real life, I don't mind, right? Because in real life, I have the seat of the pants feel, so I know what to do if a gust hits me. In the sim, the problem is you don't have that feel, and so it gets super tricky in the sim for sure. That's my only problem there. Okay, the winds. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do a clear skies like preset or something. Okay, so let me load up the Texan here. I'm just gonna go ahead and show my desktop window once again. So where is that? Okay, there we go. So we're in the P3D loading screen here, so you can see it loading up. Let's go pull up the Texan. So we're going to fly the A2A Texan today. It's been a while since I've flown this, actually, so it might be a little rusty, just to warn y'all. And we're going to fly. Let's sort by favorite there. We've got a number of awesome liveries here. We've got the Aeroshell, of course. That's a super awesome one, but this is the one we're going to fly today. The not the Aeroshell, but where is that? California Air National Guard. This is one of my favorite liveries ever, based on a real airplane, by the way. But that's what we're going to fly today. And let me go very quickly here to turn on the dynamic reflections, so that the reflection profile shows, and we'll go to Half Moon Bay. Let's go to, I'm not sure. Let's see, ramp, let's say 4. I think that should, not 4 actually, let's do 1. And we're gonna slew it over. Okay, all right, reset a sim time, let's go 18. We'll use the fair weather preset here. So that should work just nicely. Okay, let's set the time a little bit earlier there. Let's say 30. All right. Okay, let's load that up. And by the way, I'm not drinking Kona coffee at the moment. I'm drinking tea, believe it or not. I've got some green tea here, which is pretty good. And boy, has it gotten cold. But that's what I've got drinking, because it's, or got myself drinking tonight, because it's pretty. It's kind of late for Kona coffee, obviously. That makes sense, right? All right, Syed Alves Ali Shah. Good to see you, Syed. Hope you're doing well. How are things treating you? It's been a while since we've seen you on channel. Micah was saying, is that XCub? Micah, do you mean the Super Cub? That is still available, I think. So, yeah, just say Google it. I downloaded it back when it came out. Will was saying, could just do some scud running if the cloud doesn't fit. Yeah, we could. That's true. That's true. Okay, so I told you it was going to take me a while to catch up because we were doing too much. Sorry about that. Will Dewey was saying, you remember some videos and streams in the T-38 a little while ago. Lovely plane. Yeah, Will, we need to do some return flying, some more return to the T-38, especially given that the T-38, right? Obviously, that's on my channel art. That's the... That's what Aviator Bot uses, and I use as well for my little channel logo. Is the T-38. For those of you wondering what that logo shows, that's actually the T-38. So I took the screenshot right around the time we had the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11. So I did a flight around Cape Canaveral, right around golden hour, right around sunset. And I managed to capture this beautiful screenshot where I was doing a bank, and I caught this zoomed-in shot of the full moon, really, really close to the T-38, and it was a NASA T-38. So I just thought it was a beautiful shot with a lot of historical context, obviously. So that's the story of where that screenshot came from. Okay, loading up the sim here. You see how long my sim takes to load up. So you see what I have to deal with here to get the stream working. Okay, but we're almost there. We just got another 9% to go. Expert Pilot says, those are some really nice posters. What time frame are they from? Sorry, I missed that earlier, Expert Pilot, but they're from all over the place, right? So, or they're from all over different time periods. So there's some from the 30s, some from the 50s, 60s, 70s. I think I even have some, I think I even have some from the 80s and 90s as well. So I'm a huge fan of vintage travel posters in real life. I've got a number of these actually at home. So I've got some of them actually, mounted and, put on like in poster form, right? So I've got some of them on my walls. I love these vintage travel posters, and so I was able to find a whole bunch of them online, and I put them in I put the little posters on my Be Right Back screen and my Stream Starting Now screen, and that way there's at least something interesting to look at for you fine folks who are tuning in. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Purists beware, we're going to go into slew mode because, okay, let me explain why I'm going to slew mode. Because there's obviously no way for us to start up the engine right here. Typically in real life, if I were to start up the engine, what I would do is move the airplane out, because if I were to start up the engine right here, this poor person in the 170 there would probably get some issues with the engine starting up in this big radial engine here. So I'm going to go into slew mode. I'm going to park beside that Baron there. And we're going to park a little bit closer to this beautiful cafe. So this used to be, I think, the Runway 31 cafe. It's been closed now for a little while. Unfortunately, they closed it down. But it's a beautiful little cafe that we would fly into to have lunch. So if you fly in here, you'll see a whole bunch of people, or used to be able to see a whole bunch of people sitting right there. Oops, whoa. Oh boy. I switched into static camera view, and I think... oh boy, I think the... never mind. I think that he tried to take us all the way back to... ChasePlane tried to take us all the way back to Kelowna there, because it remembers the last static camera location. So thankfully that sim didn't crash there. That would have sucked. But this is the terminal building, and this is that beautiful cafe here. It's like an outdoor cafe. When the weather is nice, you'll see a whole ton of people sitting here, or you used to be able to see a whole ton of people sitting here, eating burgers, you know, just kicking back, watching the planes come and go, and it was super fun. This is a beautiful little airport for sure. Right on the Pacific coast. That's a radar station, or a radar right there. The big bulb looking thing. And the town of Half Moon Bay, beautiful town to visit here, is up there, just beyond this hill here. You can't really see it, but we'll see it once we get airborne. We might do a little flight slightly to the north there to check out, slightly to the north actually, to check out Pacifica, which is a beautiful location, also nicely modeled by Orbex. Okay, anyway, let's hop in here. 1 second. Actually, let's go to our maintenance hangar. Always like to do that with the A2A planes. Let's check on the general condition of the airplane. Excellent shape. That's good to see. Let's do a compression test. All right. Everything is looking good. It has been a while since I've flown this airplane, though, just to warn you. Okay, let's open up the cowling there. Not the cowling, but the what do you call it? the window. Canopy. Let's open up the canopies. That's the word I was looking for. Okay. Make sure the tanks are fully fueled up there, and let's go ahead and put somebody in the rear seat. And so obviously it's a radial engine, so I wanted to show you this. You do have an oil clean kit, and I think I might have mentioned this the last stream that we did in Hawaii, where we replicated a real-world flight that I did going from Honolulu to Kalaupapa. We flew the same airplane, if I remember correctly, but this is a big radial engine, right? The engines are the cylinders in the engine are arranged in a radial around the shaft there, you know, around the crankshaft. And so essentially the bottom cylinders, oil can pool, because there's a lot of oil that's used for lubrication in a radial engine. And so that oil can pool and cause hydraulic lock, which is a major issue in radial engines. So essentially, the oil clean kit is there to collect any oil that might be pooling. Okay, before, I'm going to let the oil clean kit sit there for a while, and before we go any further, what I want to do is hop into Sky Vector here, and we'll talk through the airspace that we're going to be flying between, flying, through, below, on our way to Monterey today. So let's talk through that for a second. And let me very quickly finish catching up on chat here before we go there. Shipwreck was saying you fly mostly tailwheel, right? Shipwreck, oh, you got some time in that's an airplane that I want to fly, the Aviat Husky. Shipwreck, so I've flown a few different types. I've flown a Super Cub, Citabria, a little time in a Pawnee as well for the Glider Club, because I'm a tow pilot as well. And I got some time in a 170 as well. So yeah, I've flown a few different tailwheel types. Not a whole lot though, not as many as I would like, but a few. Will Dewey is saying you think the Streamlabs flight plan might be slightly wrong. I could update that right now there, Will, but you know, I don't think it matters, right? All I'm going to do right now is just disable that, but thanks for letting me know. It takes a little while here for me to pull up CloudBot, but thanks for letting me know. I will change that. Okay, let me go to my Chrome window here, and we'll talk through our flight plan. And we'll talk through the airspace in this part of the country as well. Okay, let's see. Do I want to go to San Francisco? Yeah, we can do that. Actually, you know what? We could do a sectional. Although typically when you're flying in this part of the country, we use the terminal area chart, the San Francisco TAC there. But let's do the VFR chart, you know, the VFR sectional here. That's fine. All right. Rice Cooker was saying earlier that is the flag of British Columbia. Thanks for that. I just caught up on that, so but thanks. Expert pilot saying apparently can fly all the way to Cancun from Kelowna rather. Interesting expert. I'm guessing it's probably WestJet that does that. Okay, let's see. Shipwreck says, do I have time to join up here? It might be about 10 minutes. Shipwreck, yeah, you probably could. If you want to join, I could probably hop on VATSIM and we could do a group flight if you'd like. I'd be happy to do a flight with you for sure. So let me know and I could do that. Expert says you know absolutely nothing about GA flying, so this should be fun. Awesome. Well, I hope that's the case. Lokestar was saying you hate that. That's where Autogen gets messed up. Yeah, so hopefully that doesn't happen here. Let's see, Syed, how is the airline flying going for you? If I remember correctly, Syed, you're a A320 pilot somewhere in the Middle East, correct? So I hope your flying in the Middle East is going well. But thanks for hanging out with us today. Let's see, what else did I miss here? Shipwreck, yeah, just let me know if you wanna join in. I'd be more than happy to have you join in. Okay, all right, let's talk through the airspace here. So let's do the big picture view, right? The 35,000 foot view, so to speak. So we're going to fly from, although this is far higher than 35,000 feet, we're going to fly from Half Moon Bay up here, just to the southwest of SFO, actually, from Half Moon Bay, about 65 miles to Monterey, California. So let's talk through the airspace along the way. So what we're going to do, we're not going to follow the exact straight line path on the map, obviously. What we're going to do is we're just going to follow the coast. In fact, I'm not even going to turn on the GPS. We're just going to follow the coast and fly purely VFR. So let's talk through the overall flight plan, right? So we're going to figure out what the winds are doing. In Half Moon Bay, we're going to depart on, either... We're going to depart, I think, slightly to the north, actually, at first. What I'm going to do is just fly up to Pacifica. That way we can take a look at the beautiful scenery from Orbex. Then we'll turn back south and just follow the coastline all the way down. Just keep following this coastline all the way down to Santa Cruz. When we see Santa Cruz, we're going to hang a right and fly over Monterey Bay and pray to God that the engine doesn't quit and we end up as shark food. In Monterey Bay, that would suck. But it's always, flying in this part of the world, flying over Monterey Bay, especially single engine, you're like, oh God, please don't quit. I hope the maintenance people did their jobs and the plane is working like it should. But anyway, over Monterey Bay, into the Monterey class Charlie. If I was flying on Pilot Edge, which I could fly on Pilot Edge, but we're going to stay offline or hop on a VATSIM if somebody wants to join me, like Shipwreck. But if we're flying online or in real life, right, as we're coming up on the class Charlie, what I would do is call up Monterey Approach, just let them know, hey, we're 20 nautical miles or 25 nautical miles to the north west, inbound to land, or, we're inbound to Monterey, we're looking for full stop. And, once we're closer into Monterey, Approach would hand us over to Tower, and Tower would assign us, an approach or a runway to land on. But let's talk through the Bravo here, over San Francisco. We're not going to do a full detailed review of the Bravo, but let's talk through airspace a little bit here, right? So let's go back to Monterey. Let's start with the easy stuff, then we'll go on, graduate to the more complex stuff in airspace. So every time you see a solid magenta line like that, so airspace, right? Typically, Class Charlie and Class Bravo airspace, it's like an upside-down bedding cake. So you have multiple layers. This is a pretty straightforward airspace, to look at. So the Class Charlie here extends from the surface up to 4,200 feet right over Monterey Airport. And then further out from the airport, it extends from 1,500 feet up to 4,200 feet. So if I came into Monterey Airport below 1,500 feet here, I would not need to, ask for permission to to enter the Class Charlie, actually you don't need permission to enter Class Charlie. For Class Charlie, all you need is two-way radio communication and having a Mode C transponder on board the airplane. So you don't need explicit permission. As long as you call them up and they give you a response, you hear the response from them with your call sign, you're okay to enter Class Charlie. But you've got two layers here, 1500 up to 4200 in this outer layer, and then surface up to 4200 in the inner layer. So you could overfly the Class Charlie, and as long as you're outside of the Bravo, which you are in this part of the country, or in this part of Northern California, you can actually fly directly over the Class Charlie as well. But that's what that airspace looks like, right? So let's go further up north here to this airspace around Santa Cruz. So you see how you got this kind of, it's a shaded magenta circle, right? You've got a hard edge to the circle and you've got a soft edge to the circle. This is what's known as Class Echo airspace. So there's how many classes of airspace do we have in the United States? We've got Golf, Echo, Delta, Charlie, Bravo, and Alpha. So we got 6 classes of airspace. The only airspace that's completely uncontrolled airspace that ATC has no control over is Class Golf airspace. So Class G airspace is airspace that's outside of the hard line of this magenta shaded circle here. So outside of this airspace, essentially, Class Echo extends from 1,200 feet AGL all the way up to 18,000 feet, and then you have Alpha above, Class A airspace, which is completely IFR airspace above the Echo. Within the soft, shaded part of the circle, though, within that soft part of it, the Class Echo airspace extends all the way down to the surface. So that's controlled airspace. Now, you can fly into this airspace without permission from air traffic control, without talking to anyone, because it's not Bravo, it's not Delta, it's not Charlie. But you just got to note that it's Class Echo, so you might be flying close to, IFR airplanes that might be, in control, talking to a controller. And the reason that's there, my guess, the reason that IFR is there is probably, or the reason that Echo is there here is probably because you've got the helipad. So my guess is this is a medical helipad related to a hospital at Santa Cruz. That's my guess. I'm not sure. I probably should have looked into that a long time ago. But that's my guess as to why you have a Class Echo going all the way down to the surface here. It's probably because of that helipad. You might have IFR, helicopters flying in there. Okay, so the reason I mentioned that is because if you come up here to Half Moon Bay, you'll notice we don't have a shaded circle there, right? A shaded magenta circle, but we do have a shaded sort of a box. You see the magenta shaded line there around Half Moon Bay. So you do have Echo around Half Moon Bay that extends all the way down to the surface, and outside the hard side of that line, the hard side of that shaded line there, you've got Golf from surface to 1,200 feet AGL, and then above 1,200 feet AGL you have Echo once again. But obviously Half Moon Bay is an uncontrolled field, so we don't have to be talking to anybody. We can make radio calls on CTAF like we normally would, but we don't have to talk to anybody outside when we're departing or arriving into Half Moon Bay. By anybody, I mean, obviously you don't have to talk to a controlling authority, like a tower frequency or approach frequency or anybody like that. But you do probably want to announce your intentions to other aircraft that might be coming into the airport or taken off from the airport. Okay, and obviously, NorCal, this is some super busy, Class Bravo airspace. You've got 3 major airports here. You've got Oakland, you've got San Francisco, of course, and you've got San Jose further to the south, and you've got a whole bunch of deltas here. In fact, Palo Alto, which I happen to have a lot of familiarity with, is one of the busiest general aviation airports in the world there. Actually, there's a ton of busy general aviation airports, in the Bay Area. But you've got a whole, complex of really, really complicated looking, Bravo airspace around SFO. And around the Bay Area. The easiest way to deal with this is not to try and take in all the information at once, but to just look at the part of the airspace that's applicable to your flight, right? So Half Moon Bay is below one of the shelves of the Class Bravo, right? So right over Half Moon Bay, you've got the Bravo. So it's this section of the Bravo. You see there is... So Bravo airspace in a sectional is designated by solid blue lines. So if you see solid blue lines like this, that's Bravo airspace. If you see let's see, there's Palo Alto. So I'm going to switch to San Francisco TAC because that makes it easier to see. If you see a dashed blue line like this, that's Delta in a VFR sectional. So Delta is a dashed blue line, like the one around Palo Alto right there. And it's a lot easier to see in the TAC terminal area chart. But if you see a solid blue line, that's Bravo airspace. So right over Half Moon Bay, you've got the Bravo going from 4,000 feet up to 10,000 feet. We're going to stay well below that, so that way we don't have to talk to approach and NorCal rather, and request a transition through the Bravo. If you want to fly through Bravo airspace in the United States, you need explicit permission, right? You need to ask explicit permission to fly through the Bravo, and you need to get explicit permission before you can enter the Bravo. Micah, I'm familiar with those names. I've never been there, though. I'm familiar with those names, though. Shipwreck was saying you can take the J3 Cub unless they'll be way too slow. Shipwreck, that could work. In fact, I could hop in the J3 Cub as well, but I had my heart set on flying the Texan, to be honest, so I'm probably going to fly the Texan. Yeah, the J3 Cub might be a bit slow. You're welcome to depart before I do, though. That way I can catch up. You could probably, I want to see you redline that J3 though. I want to see you redline that Cub if you do fly it. That should be fun. Okay, and then just south of Half Moon Bay here, the Bravo extends from 6,000 feet up to 10,000 feet. So for most of this flight, right, actually for nearly all of this flight, we're going to be in in this section and then in this section from 8,000 feet up to 10,000 feet. So what does that mean? For a short flight from Half Moon Bay to Monterey, we're not going to need to talk to anybody until we get to Monterey Class Charlie, right? Because we're going to stay relatively low. We're just following the coastline, doing a fun VFR flight. So we're not going to be talking to NorCal approach until we get to Monterey. And actually, it's not Monterey approach like I misspoke earlier. It's obviously NorCal approach. All the approach frequencies are NorCal approach or NorCal departure. But anyway, so we're going to be staying below the shelf of the Bravo here. We're probably going to level off at about 3,000 feet, and we'll just follow the coastline all the way down to Santa Cruz. At Santa Cruz, we'll head out over Monterey Bay, hope to God that the engine doesn't fail and make us shark food, and then we'll fly into the Class Charlie and land in Monterey. So that is our plan. And if you have any questions on aerospace in this part of the world, feel free to let me know, and I'll let you know. Shipwreck, or I'll answer as best I can. Shipwreck was saying you can stick with the Texan, you'll take out the Lancair Legacy. Awesome, Shipwreck. That sounds pretty good to me. Okay, let's go back to the P3D screen here. And wanted to do something here real quick. We'll just turn off the flight plan timer. There we go. Okay, that's done. And let's go ahead and start this baby up, and we'll get going soon. Okay, let's pull up the checklist here. All right. Notes: prime 5 strokes before starting, check oil temp before run up, idle under 1,000 RPM with cold engine, 110 to 120 in the pattern, 90 to 100 approach. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, upon entering the cabin, we want to, turn the prop 9 blades, and of course the reason you do that is because it's a radial engine. So let's pull this up. Let's go and get rid of the oil clean kit, pitot cover, tie downs, wheel chocks, and controls lock as well. And the reason you want to turn the prop through is because it's a radial engine, right? So there's this misconception among folks who don't fly radials or have very little time in radial engines, and of course in the flight sim community, that if you're turning the prop through, you're actually clearing the cylinders. You're not. You cannot clear the cylinders of any oil that's pulled up in there by turning the prop through. All you're doing is feeling, and let me do this here real quick. All you're doing when you're turning the prop through is you're feeling for resistance. If you feel resistance, that's quite likely because you have oil pulled up in one of the cylinders. If you feel resistance and you try to pull the prop through, you can actually apply enough force to potentially, break a piston, or bend a rod, like a rod in the piston. And so what you do when you feel resistance, you immediately stop. You take the spark plugs out of the lower cylinders, let any oil that's pulled up in there drain, and then you put the spark plugs back in after all the oil is drained, and you try pulling the prop through once again. If you feel no resistance this time, it means all the oil has been cleared and you're good to go. But if you try to pull the prop through when you feel resistance, you're not clearing the cylinders. All you're doing is potentially bending a piston rod, and you're probably going to have the engine fail catastrophically rather, at some point in some future flight, which is a bad thing. Okay, we've turned the prop through far too much there. That's good enough. It's probably going to keep turning through because I held it down for far too long there. Why do I have the landing lights on? Okay, somebody was leaving there. Who was it? Expert Pilot, no worries. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully we'll catch you next time. Take care, Expert Pilot. We'll take care. Or you take care. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right. Let's see. What else did I miss here? Rice Cooker, welcome back. Micah was asking, did I see the video where a guy put an engine from either a Corvette or a Camaro into a Cessna? I did not, Micah. You can probably put the link into the into the chatbot there, but or chat box there. But holy cow, I was holding down the hand prop there far too long. Oh, I know why. If I hold it down and I move the mouse away from that, it continues. So the way I want that to stop is I just press that again. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just gonna, yeah, there we go. Okay, that works. All right, let's go back to the checklist here. Upon entering the cabin, turn prop 9 blades, remove chocks, tie down speedo cover, controls unlocked. Let's make sure they are unlocked. Indeed they are. And I'm just gonna hide the control there. Make sure that I didn't turn on the control lock by accident. Seatbelt, shoulder harnesses on, flaps are up, fuel selector set at the desired tank. Fuel selector are down here. I think it's in the off position. Let's go and set it at the right tank. Actually, we'll set it at the left tank for now. We'll switch to the right tank probably about 20 minutes into the flight. Trims set to neutral. They are neutral. Gear switch is down. There's the gear switch. And radio's off, all electrical switches off, circuit breakers are in. Of course, in the A2A aircraft, you get the benefit of having all these circuit breakers modeled, which is kind of cool. I can actually pop these circuit breakers out. In fact, the cockpit lights for the rear, the circuit breaker had popped out, so I had to reset that. So I can pop all these circuit breakers out, which is kind of cool. And actually, I misspoke. When we did our flight into Oshkosh in the A2A Bonanza, I said you could pop out the circuit breakers in the A2A Bonanza. In fact, you can't. Those circuit breakers, just like in the Cessna 172, those circuit breakers cannot be popped out. They can pop out on their own in case the circuit breaker fails. But all you can do with those circuit breakers, the Bonanza, is you can reset them. So if they pop out and they can't pop out if there's a failure, you can reset them and push them back in. So there's the story there. I misspoke on my stream on Saturday when we were flying into Oshkosh. And those of you who didn't watch the full stream, I hope you were able to catch the VOD at least. I don't usually make my streams public. I usually unlist them and have a playlist. But that stream was so unique and interesting that I figured it's worth making that one public. So I do have that public in case any of you want to watch it on my channel. That was a super fun flight for SimMeasure 2020 in Oshkosh. Okay, engine starting. Check prop has been pulled 9 plates. Fuel selector set to the desired tank, left tank in our case. Throttle cracked about a ½ an inch there. Mixture to full rich. There we go. Prop full decrease. There we go. Battery coming on. Wait. There we go. Battery coming on. And we're going to prime 5 strokes here. Boy, it's been a while since I've flown the Texan. There's the prime. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and prime 5 strokes. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. I'm actually going to do 4 strokes. I don't need to give it a full 5 shots there. 5 might be a little excessive. Okay, let's go ahead and lock the primer there. Let's go ahead and engage the starter. So actually what I want to do is I want to push it to energize, and then when I push to engage. So let's go ahead and engage the starter, and after the prop propellers turn 4 blades, we'll go ahead and move our mags to both. Mags are up there. So let's go ahead and count 4 blades. Engine starter. 2, 3, 4. Mags to both. And let's try and give it a little few shots of prime. There we go. Good start. I love the sound of the radial engine starting. Let's move the prop lever full forward. Make sure we've got oil pressure. Indeed we do. Oil pressure coming up there. Not in the green yet, but it's slowly coming up. That's fantastic. And let's go ahead and get about 500 to 600 RPM there. And let's get the generator on. Oops. Avionics on and generator on. And engine starting checklist complete there. Warm up and pre-taxi, oil pressure. Actually, we'll do that before we taxi out. We got some time. Let the engine warm up, let the oil warm up there. Okay, let's go ahead and move the mixture back just a little bit there so that we don't foul the spark plugs on the ground. And let's go here. Let's go to map. I'm just going to put in, oops. I'm just going to put in Monterey. Whoops. The engine was running just a little rough there, so I'm going to have it idle at a little higher RPM so that the engine doesn't quit on us. It felt like it was about to quit. So let's put, oops, let's put in Monterey there. Okay, that way we got that. Let's go to the map page. That way we got that. And we are squawking mode Charlie there. Okay, let's see. Micah says you can't remember if this is the video or not, but I'm pretty sure it is. It's only about a minute. We'll take a look at it there, Micah. Shipwreck is saying you need to install this plane again. Just saw I got to update it for V5. Hey, no problem there, Shipwreck. It's all good. Logstar was saying love the cabin sound effects in A2 aircraft. Absolutely, Logstar. And you see the way the cowling there actually shakes? Like, if I start idling a little, you can see it shake a little bit more. If I lower the RPM, the engine sounds like it's about to quit. So, you know, it's just, I love the sound modeling of the A2A aircraft is just amazing. And obviously it's because if you watch the A2A videos, right, where they talk about these aircraft, it's kind of obvious they've actually, what do you call it, you know, they've actually modeled this from real flying in a Texan. So I forgot the name of the gentleman who runs A2A. I think it's Scott something, but you know, they actually fly the real Texan. They fly the real aircraft, and then they model their sim aircraft based on that. So that's super cool. One thing I wanted to do here real quick, where are the headphone jacks? They're in here somewhere. Their headphone jacks might be up here. I want to get my headset on. Obviously there's a way to do this from the menu, but I kind of wanted to do this the old-fashioned way. There it is. Okay, headphones are in. That's super cool. So I can actually click on that, and headphones are on. So you can see the headphones, actually the helmet's on there. That's pretty cool. All right, one last thing I want to do here. Let's get some sunglasses on. Actually, that's still auto. Okay, fantastic. All right. All right, we're good to go here. I think we're ready to start taxiing out. Shipwreck, are you indeed planning on flying along? If you are, I'm going to hop on VATSIM. Let me just check on what's going on VATSIM here on VATSPY. Oh, we do have Oakland Center online. So, okay, you know what? Let's hop onto... I'm going to hop onto VATSIM here. Sorry, I had to hit the cough button there for a second. I'm going to hop on VATSIM here. Okay, 122.8, and let me just very quickly look up the Oakland Center frequency. One second. Oakland Center was 132.2. Okay, I'm going to put that in standby. 322. Okay, and let's move transponder to altitude reporting. Okay. Okay, we're flying VFR, obviously. Alright, I just wanted to pull up vPilot here so I can hop on VATSIM, and we'll fly along with whoever we're flying with here to Monterey. Okay, call sign is going to be, remember, 321 Delta Juliet. So 1 Delta Juliet, Texan 1 Delta Juliet is our call sign. And type code, I think, is T6, right? Yeah, T6 Texan. North American AT6. Okay, let's go ahead and connect. Alright, we're connected to VATSIM here. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna be on Unicom here until we're and actually NorCal approach is online. It's 133.9 or 5, so that's who we're probably going to be with at Monterey once we enter the class Charlie. So I'm going to put that in standby. Okay, fantastic. All right, and we've got the Lank Air there. I think that's the Lank Air. Yeah, so that's probably or the Lance Air, not Lank Air, Lance Air. But he's showing up as a Cirrus because of model matching, obviously. But I'm pretty sure that's Shipwreck, right? So let us know if that's you, Shipwreck. VX free flight, unfortunately, this is probably going to be the last leg, but VX, we can hang out here for a couple of minutes. It's just a VFR flight, so if you want to join us on VATSIM, you're more than welcome to jump on and fly with us on VATSIM right now. You know, it's going to be a relatively short flight from here to Monterey, and it's purely VFR, so there's not a whole lot of preparation that needs to go into it. Just hop on in a 172, or actually not a, yeah, whatever you want to fly, and you can do that way. Okay, warm up and pre-taxi, oil pressure greater than 40 psi, and props increase. Radios on, transponder alt, altimeter set. Heading indicator set, landing gear indicators in the green, radio ATIS. By the way, for those of you who are not aware, in real life, it is currently IFR conditions at Half Moon Bay, right? So I'm not sure what kind of response we're going to get from NorCal. If they expect us to be using real-world weather once we get into Monterey, we're probably just going to hop off VATSIM and finish the flights on our own, because I'm using a VFR preset here. Because there's no way, you know, that I'm going to fly this flight IFR, obviously. I could probably fly IFR in the Texan, but we've got all the instrumentation for it, looks like. We'll see what the controller is okay with. Alright, Shipwreck says, that is you. Awesome there, Shipwreck. I do see you. You're showing up as Cirrus SR-22 there, but I am going to picture a Landsayer Legacy in my head. Okay, we don't need the ATIS, but I do want to pick up my own weather here at Half Moon Bay. It is calm. The winds are calm in my system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to taxi down to hold short of, let's see, we'll taxi down to runway 30. So I'm going to turn, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn left. Let me see if I can pull up ForeFlight on my iPad here so you can see that. Give me 1 second. It's going to take a little bit of work here to finagle this. Give me 1 second here. I want to pull up 5K player, but this is pretty cool. If you can actually get this to work, it's always cool getting this to work on stream. So 1 second, pull that up. Let me go ahead and go to screen mirroring here. Let's go to 5K player. All right, fantastic. And let's see if I can pull this up. If we can pull this up, that'd be fantastic. All right. Let's go to Streamlabs, and let's go ahead and pull up the iPad here, and hopefully you guys can see my iPad screen mirrored with ForeFlight. Give me 1 second here. Shipwreck says I'm an extra at D30, so there you go. Model matching always makes things interesting for sure. Okay, so here we are. That's ForeFlight for me, right? So so obviously, like I said, currently it's IFR conditions, like it's deep red at Half Moon Bay, right? IFR conditions. It's currently overcast at 500 feet, so we'll see what NorCal Approach is willing to do for us once we get to once we get to Monterey. Hopefully they don't yell at us. I'm going to let them know we were using VFR weather, and if that's okay. Hopefully it is, because there's not a whole lot of traffic, so it should be okay. But it's VATSIM, you never know. Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're obviously up here near the restaurant, right? So what we're going to do, or where the restaurant used to be, what we're going to do is hang a left here onto this taxiway. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can pull up a taxiway diagram. Okay. No. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going to turn left here onto this taxiway, and then we're just going to follow that taxiway down. It gets really confusing, okay, because if you continue following the taxiway, you're going to go down to these hangars, and you're going to go down a bunch of other hangars. So what you want to do is make sure you know to turn the second right there. You know, there's a bunch of other parking spots. That's what those are. But you want to make sure you turn the second right. Actually, you know what you can do, just to make things easier on yourself. Once you go down here, down this taxiway, and make sure you turn right onto this curved taxiway, and just follow that taxiway down to the first right, and just go down to the runway 30 hole pad. At the hole pad, we'll do our run-up checks, and then we'll depart on 30. Depends on what the winds are doing in your sim. I do have the fair weather preset in my sim. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to head north slightly, staying below the Bravo. So I'm going to climb up to maybe about, 2,000 feet initially. We're going to stay relatively low initially. But I'm going to go down up the north, up the coast here to the north towards Pacifica. We'll just fly, over Rockaway Beach there, take a look at some of the beautiful scenery. Then we'll do a 180, head back down the coast past Half Moon Bay, all the way down the coast there towards Santa Cruz. And at Santa Cruz, we're going to hang a right, like I mentioned, head out over shark-infested Monterey Bay. Hope the engine doesn't fail. It's not gonna fail. It's gonna be okay. You do not want to be a passenger when I'm flying over Monterey Bay. I'm probably gonna scare the hell out of you. But over Monterey Bay to the class Charlie, we'll ask for permission to enter the Charlie, and we'll do a VFR arrival into Monterey if NorCal approach will give it to us on VATSIM. So that is our plan. Let me go ahead and hide away my iPad here. Don't need that anymore. You know, if I had a smaller iPad screen, what I could do is just leave up ForeFlight the entire flight, but unfortunately my preset in Streamlabs is super big like that, so there we go. Oh yeah, Lokestar, I am so sorry about this. I actually missed your comment during the Oshkosh stream on ForeFlight. I was missing a lot of your comments, Lokestar, because every time I see the little wrench and the blue sign there for mods, you know, I'm confusing that sometimes with the Streamlabs messages, and so I tend to gloss over them. But you did ask about ForeFlight in our last stream. So yeah, totally. So P3D has an option where you can automatically send GPS data to apps that support receiving that kind of data on your Wi-Fi network. So P3D can automatically send GPS data to ForeFlight. And actually, here, let me show you this again. Let me pull up my iPad screen again. Essentially, you see how at the very bottom of the ForeFlight app there's distance to next, estimated time en route, destination, ground speed, GPS altitude, track, magnetic track, and accuracy, Prepare 3D version 4. Prepared is actually sending GPS data to ForeFlight, so that's what you're seeing at the bottom there. So that's super cool. Unfortunately, I can't have my iPad screen on during the entire flight because it's too big. It's just gonna, you know, hide too much of the stuff on the screen. But yeah, you can totally use ForeFlight while you're simming. There's a way to connect X-Plane 11 to ForeFlight as well, by the way. Anyway, let's go ahead and hide away the iPad there. Don't need that anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and stop mirroring. That way I can save some precious CPU resources there, and GPU resources as well. It eats up a lot of resources when I have ForeFlight showing, or my iPad being mirrored on my CPU or my PC there. Okay, all right. We've been idling far too long here, burning far too much fuel in this very thirsty radial engine. Let's go ahead and start taxiing out here. I'm tuned into Unicom initially. So on Pilot Edge, I would use the actual CTAF frequency for Half Moon Bay, which is 120. CTAF frequency is 122.8. So how convenient. How convenient. The CTAF frequency is 122.8 in real life as well. Forgot that. But so we're on the right CTAF anyway. So okay, let's go ahead and start taxiing out here. Brakes released. Let's pre-taxi. Let's see, there's a taxi check. No, the next check is a run-up check. Okay, let's start taxiing out here. So for taxiing in a tailwheel aircraft, I want the
all systems have been alerted to your presence, sir.
Perfect timing there. Would have been better if we had done that right before we entered NorCal airspace, the class Charlie in Monterey. But that's perfect. I love it. I love that you're using these sound effects. But I was trying to pull up the stick there. When you're taxiing a tailwheel aircraft, you want to hold the stick full back. If you have a crosswind from the left with a headwind component, you want to go aileron into the wind. If you have a tailwind, then you want to fly out of it, right? But you want... That took far too long, but welcome back. Thanks to those of you that stuck it out. I'm not sure what happened there. For some reason, the internet just kind of dropped. And actually now it's back to taking its time to load there, it looks like. Let me know if it's buffering, and I can just very quickly try something here. It is buffering, isn't it? Okay, just gonna try this again. Hopefully this is working. How are you folks hearing me now? Is it finally working? For some reason it dropped and then it reconnected and then it reconnected again. So it dropped and then it reconnected again. So hopefully it's working now, because I can see everything is showing green across the board on my internet. So hopefully it's working now. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, fantastic. Oh my God, that was a nightmare. I don't know what happened. Things just started dropping, folks. I don't know what happened, but welcome back. I am not sure I want to risk hopping out of VATSIM here, folks. So, and plus I don't know if anybody's still on VATSIM anymore that was intending to go group flying. So we're just going to probably do this offline unless there is real interest in doing a flight on VATSIM. If there is, I'll hop back on. If not, I'm going to stay off. So just let me know. Actually, I'm just going to connect anyway. So let me connect right now. I'm going to hop back on VATSIM because I see the folks that were on VATSIM are still there. All right, Logstar with a pretty good... Logstar, that reminds me, I think I need to reconnect my chatbot. Let me do that real quick. Actually, yeah, my chatbot is still connected, so hopefully that works. Absolutely, welcome back, Absolutely Aviation. And holy cow, we got a CRJ sitting there. One of the artifacts of model matching, unfortunately, in Flight Sim. That's probably a Cherokee or something, but it's showing up as a CRJ in P3D. So we got a big jet there. Okay, let's start taxiing out here. This has taken far too long. I do apologize to everybody, but it looks like most folks stayed online. I think we had about 13 or 14 viewers when we had the connection issues, and unfortunately things dropped. Will Dewey, if you're still on, Will, or if you watch the Water the stream later, dude, I am so happy that you're getting to go to Iceland and do that fantastic trip. I wish you nothing but the best for that, and I really do hope you enjoy that trip. Much looking forward to seeing some videos, hopefully, from that trip when you get there, and much looking forward to catching up on how that went later on. But that's fantastic, Will. Congratulations. Okay, I was trying to pull up ForeFlight on my iPad here. Now I've got all kinds of other issues. For some reason, my iPad isn't connected to my Wi-Fi. Oh, there it is. Now it's connected. Okay, so now I'm going to pull up ForeFlight. Okay, everything is back. Hopefully this doesn't happen again. If it happens again, folks, I'm sorry, but we're just going to call it a day. But hopefully everything works now. All right, let me put my iPhone away, and let's start taxiing out here. How is the audio levels, by the way? Because I had to reset, I had to move my microphone back in an appropriate position and things like that. So let me know if the audio levels are causing any issues. Logstar, I don't think Will has a Twitch account. Will doesn't do any streaming or anything like that. You know, I think he just does some flying from time to time in real life, and he's got a YouTube channel under his name with some videos. I think he's just got 1 or 2 videos, but the idea was that hopefully, when he gets back from Iceland, or during his trip to Iceland, if he has time, he's going to try and record some videos first of all with a GoPro setup that he has, and he might edit and upload some videos from the flight to Iceland later. But let's go ahead and start taxiing down here to runway 30.
187 Papa Kilo on the north front, taxi to runway 30, Half Moon Bay.
I probably should have made a call earlier, but that's super awesome. So we can hear somebody on VATSIM there, and I do apologize to the folks that are flying along for making you wait as long as I did. Thank you for your patience. You folks are super awesome, for sure. Okay, I'm going to hang it right here onto this taxiway, and we'll go down to the runway 30 hold pad, and we'll do a run-up, and then we'll get going shortly. This, of course, is a tailwheel airplane with a pretty large engine up front, so typically what you want to do is S-turns on a taxiway if the taxiway is wide enough in order to be able to see the runway and all that, or see the taxiway and see ahead of you. Make sure you don't collide with anything that's in front of you. But we'll head down here. Ooh, somebody's flying into Palo Alto there. That's super awesome. Okay, we'll hold short of 3, or we'll go hold at the hold pad here, rather. Whoa, 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 whoa. Holy cow. I had the stick full back, didn't I? What happened there? I had the stick full back. I guess I put in too much of the brake there. We almost had a prop strike. We almost had a prop strike there. Mohammed Ibrahim, no worries. You're just in time, actually, because we had some serious internet issues earlier that caused my internet connection to drop for whatever reason, and now it's back, thankfully. So you came at just in time. Adam Barzak, welcome. Sorry I missed you earlier, but welcome on board. Boy, what did I do there? I think I applied the brakes far too much with a little too much power in. And so that's what caused the nose to drop like that. So I had the stick full back, and I thought that should not happen, but I was too aggressive on the brakes and had too much power in, and that's what happens. That's why you always have the stick full back when you're taxiing a tailwheel airplane, and you got to be gentle on the brakes, because you can get the nose to tip over like that very, very easily, and you could have a prop strike. Okay, let's go through a checklist here. Run up check, hydraulic system check. Let's lower the flaps. Okay, so we'll lower the flaps all the way, check for normal hydraulic pressure. Gauge is down there, flap indicator is down there. And the flaps in this airplane are pretty cool. They extend all the way down the underside of the fuselage. That's pretty cool. And let's go ahead and get the flaps back up. Flaps coming up. Pressure still looking good. All right. And let's go ahead and turn off the flap switch there. So it's a hydraulic flap switch, so essentially you move the switch from an up, off, and down position, just like you have in the landing gear switch or handle on a Boeing airplane, right? The 737 and the Boeings, the Boeing airplane, you've got an up, down, off position. So that's the same way in the flaps here, the flap switch on the T6 Texan. Okay. Let's do a run-up check here. Let's go stick full back, go to 1600 RPM. Once again, stick full back, 1600 RPM there. And we'll cycle the prop real quick. Okay, that works. And then we'll do a carb heat check. There's the carb heat right there. Okay, carb heat. There's the RPM drop. That's good. Then we'll go to field manifold pressure there at 2000 RPM. And we'll check the mags. Okay, there we go. All right, let's do a mag check here. Let's go to the right mag there. There's a drop. That's good. Engine's not running rough. Back to both. Left mag. RPM drop. Ignition back to both. Okay, and max drop is 100 RPM. We were well within that, so that's good. And then we'll do a cruise mixture check. 1900 RPM. So actually, you know what? I'm going to have the mixture full forward here for takeoff, so that's fine. Don't worry about that. And let's throttle back to idle here. Make sure the engine still runs. That's good. Engine's still running. Okay, that's fantastic. Run-up check complete. Let's do a before takeoff check here. Flaps, or controls free and correct, rather. Controls are free and correct. Let's check this out externally. That's good. Rudder pedals as well. Okay, primer locked. Mixture full rich. Prop full increase. Trim tabs, let's set the elevator to the 11 o'clock position, and we'll set the rudder to the 2 o'clock position. There we go. And flaps are up, engine gauge is checked, everything is looking like it's in the green, that's fantastic. And for takeoff, we'll put the yoke to neutral, get the nose, get the tail wheel up once we're at a sufficient airspeed. We're going to rotate at 89 miles per hour. Positive climb, we'll get the gear up. Then we'll get the flaps up. We've already got the flaps up. We're going to climb out at 110 miles per hour. And that's good. And for the once we're established in the climb at a safe altitude, we're going to go 30-20, 30 inches of manifold pressure and 2,000 RPM. And we'll climb out at 110 miles per hour. And over 3,000 feet, we can close the canopy, lean the mixture for smooth operation. So we're going to climb out at 2,000 feet initially, like I mentioned. Boy, that was so long ago. But we're going to climb out at 2,000 feet initially. And we're going to go straight to the north towards Pacifica. And once we get to Pacifica, we're just going to take a look at Rockaway Beach, and then we'll fly back down south towards Monterey. So that's our plan. Okay, let me catch up on chat here real quick. Absolutely says you got to fly a Boeing Stearman the other day. That's an awesome experience there, Absolutely Aviation. I got about a half hour in a Boeing Stearman myself. And boy, that is a fun airplane to fly for sure. Okay, now the CRJ has finally been replaced by something a bit more appropriate. Okay, folks, we'll start taxiing out here. Sorry, it took me far too long there. Let's get our landing lights on. Sorry. And let me make sure I'm squawking Mo Charlie here on VATSIM. Now I am. And let me make sure I get my lights on here. Nav lights on, passing light on. What else? That's it, actually. Where are the landing lights? It's on here somewhere. I'm not sure where exactly it is. Anyway, it's been a while since I've flown the Texan. Anyway, let's get going here. Half Moon Bay traffic, Texan 321 Delta Juliet, taking off runway 30. Straight out departure to the north, Half Moon Bay. Okay, let's get lined up here. Boy, I've got the friction on my throttle lever, my SciTech X52 set super low, so don't have to move it too much to get it to really get a lot of throttle in there. Anyway, that's fine. We're lined up here. Let's go full throttle. Actually, we'll go to 36 inches there, manifold pressure. That's good. Okay, stick full back. Small movements in the rudder pedals there. And once we're at sufficient airspeed, let's get the tail wheel up. Stay lined up on the runway. 80 to 90 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and rotate. And we're off. Beautiful airplane, this. Positive rate. Let's go and get the gear up. Gear coming up there. And beautiful views here as we climb out over Half Moon Bay.
Skyhawk 172. Skyhawk 187 Papa Kilo. Departing runway 30, right close traffic, Half Moon Bay.
Half Moon Bay traffic. Texan 1 Delta Juliet is departing the area to the north, Half Moon Bay. Okay, I probably should have announced I'm on upwind there. Anyway, let's go 30 inches of manifold pressure and 2,000 RPM there. With a constant speed prop like this, you always want to move the throttle lever first and then the propeller lever. So let's get the prop RPM there down to 2,000 RPM. Okay, and that's it. So we're going to climb out, well, actually we can do a cruise climb here. We'll climb out at about 120 miles per hour up to 2,000 feet. And then we'll stay at 2,000 feet as we come up on Pacifica here. And for those of you that are flying along, shipwreck, etc., thank you so much. That was, I hope you're having fun, and sorry once again for the long delay on the ground there. I do apologize for that. Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're just going to head down the coast here, and this is a beautiful stretch of coastline going from Half Moon Bay up to Pacifica. We're going to stay below the Bravo. We're going to level off at about 2,000 feet until we get to Pacifica.
Half Moon Bay traffic, Skyhawk 187 Papa Kilo, turning right crosswind, Half Moon Bay.
Yeah, so, yeah, it is right pattern for runway 30 there. Forgot that. So this person is doing it right. So here's what we're doing. We're just going to head over Rockaway Beach here. This is a beautiful stretch of coastline, and this stretch of Highway 1 here is just absolutely gorgeous. Runs up the sea cliffs here. Just absolutely stunning and gorgeous. Beautiful part of the country, this. If you ever get to visit the Bay Area, make sure you visit this part of the Bay Area for sure. This drive from Half Moon Bay up to Pacifica is just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, there's Rockaway Beach below us. We're just going to quickly do a circle around Rockaway Beach at about my current altitude, flying VFR. Then we'll head back down to the south, past Half Moon Bay, over towards Monterey, California. And let me catch up on chat here. CC Aviation was saying, have I ever had a flight from Muscat to London P3D? No, I have not there, CC Aviation. I don't know if I have a good scenery for Muscat, so unfortunately I have not done that. And does somebody want me to contact them? Oakland Center wanted me to contact them.
Half Moon Bay traffic, Skyhawk 187 Papa Kilo on right downwind, Half Moon Bay.
Oakland Center there was getting a little concerned. They were like, I hope you're staying outside of that Class Bravo there, friend. And I'm like, yeah, so we're real far, but we will be in touch with you when you're entering Class C at Monterey. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and hide away that window. Don't need that anymore. Adam Barzak was saying they had to reroute that section of Highway 1 because the Montara mountain slide, they built a tunnel and a bridge through the mountain instead. Yeah, so, yeah, that's right. It's not, it doesn't look like it does here, right? That's right. Okay, we're heading back down to the south here. But this is a spectacular scenery, though, from Orbex. It does look great. Lokestar with the ATC command there. Okay, Lokestar was asking, how can the stick full back prevent tipping over? You mean taxi speed wouldn't be enough to create that downforce? So it's not really taxi speed there, Lokestar. What creates that risk of tipping over is when you get on the brakes or you get enough thrust in there, you know, enough power in, that can cause the tipping over. It's not really, like you were saying, it's not really the... I'm going to stay off to the west here so I don't get in conflict with any traffic at Half Moon Bay. And I'm going to climb up to 3,000 actually. Let me do that. But where was I? Essentially, if you apply brakes and you're too quick on the brakes are pretty powerful. That on its own can cause that tipping effect and potentially cause a prop strike. So that's where that risk comes from. Are the commands not working there, Lokestar? 1 second. I think I need to reconnect my Streamlabs chatbot. So I'm going to do that here real quick. Okay, let's switch tanks here. Okay, switch to the right tank. And we'll hang the left here, just follow the coastline down. So, absolutely, how did you like your experience in the Stearman? How much time did you get in it? And was it a friend that you went up with, or what's the story? 1 second here. Let me see if I can get my chatbot working once again. As soon as I'm far enough away from the traffic that's in the pattern here at Half Moon Bay, just don't want to alarm him. Okay, we're just going to head down to the south here. We're going to level off at about 3,000 feet, and just want to trim the airplane out here. Let's see, let me go ahead and try to reconnect. Just gonna have to reopen my chatbot there. Okay, I'm gonna level off here at 3,000 feet. And let's set cruise power here, 24 inches of manifold pressure. And let me get rid of that rudder trim from earlier. And let's set 1850 RPM there on the prop lever. All right, fantastic. And we'll just head south. Okay, one thing I wanted to do here real quick was switch to Oakland Center. So that's who we're going to be contacting once we get into the Monterey, get closer to the Monterey class Charlie there. Okay, all right, let me open up my chatbot once again. I think we all love those sound effects, so it'd be nice to have them back for sure. Let me see if I can get them back. That C-3PO sound for sure is really good there, Lokestar, for sure. I do like it a lot. Okay, let me try to reconnect the chatbot here. Oh my god, I gotta generate the token all over again? Okay, no worries. We can do that. Boy, all kinds of things going on today. All kinds of technical issues. We're just gonna follow the coastline here at 3,000 feet. Trying to do too many things at once. Okay, now we're connected, and now the YouTube bot should be connected as well. Lokestar, try that command again. Let me know if it works. Hopefully it does work. Hopefully all the commands should be working once again here. All right, let's go ahead and get that canopy closed there. Let things quieten down just a little bit.
All systems have been alerted
there we go.
to your presence, sir.
It's all working again. That's fantastic. Let's see. It does work, so that's fantastic. It doesn't look like I missed too much in chat here, so that's good. I must have missed a ton earlier when we had the streaming issues, but it's back to working now, thankfully. Adam Barzak, I'm guessing if you're familiar with that that work that was done on Highway 1, you must be from this area locally, right? So awesome. Okay, so we're just going to follow the coastline down here. We're going to come in a little bit closer to the coastline. Just going to bump up the throttle just a little bit there, so we're going a little bit faster. All right, we'll just head down here. And I'm surprised we never found an opportunity to use the... Yeah, totally there, Lokestar. It's unfortunate. Adam's saying not far. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, well, it's a beautiful part of the country, for sure. Okay, let me... It's really surprising and unfortunate that we never got to use this command, right? During our last flight.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me. And I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
I love that one. That's from 2001: A Space Odyssey, of course. Shipwreck was saying you're in slow flight behind me. You underestimated the legacy speed. Oh my god, Shipwreck. Yeah, and I'm sorry, actually. I overestimated the Texan speed. I thought the Texan would be cruising a lot faster. Clearly we're not. I'm doing about 145 miles per hour here. I am not cruising very fast at all. I'm going to bump up the throttle here just a little bit to increase my speed as we head down to Monterey. It's probably going to take us in about another, let's see, just going to use ForeFlight here real quick to figure out how long it's going to take me. It's going to take me about 25 minutes to get to Monterey from here. HAL 2000 is great. That's right, for sure. I love that audio command. We've also got this one. We've got another variation, Autopilot 2.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
That's
I'm
a classic,
sorry,
of course.
Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I'm afraid I can't do that. All right. Okay. Shipwreck says your sim just crashed. Oh my god, Shipwreck. Well, hey, it's that kind of day, Shipwreck. I do apologize for all the difficulties we've been having today, but it is that kind of day. Unfortunately, it's that kind of day. Alright, one thing I could do here is get the autopilot on. That way I can take a bit of a load off, but you know what? It's such an easy airplane to hand fly. You know, once you get it stable, all you need to do is put in some minor control inputs here and there to get it to do what you need it to do. It's a very, very stable airplane, this. And of course, you know, it's a great training airplane in real life. It used to be a great training airplane, of course, for the for pilots that served in World War II. And a while after that, until they had the Texan II, I think, and some other training aircraft in the U.S. Air Force. But I think the Army Air Force way back in the day had a number of these. Beautiful, beautiful airplane. I love the California Air National Guard livery here. It just looks absolutely fantastic. Shipwreck says you're not going to try and restart your sim, but you'll make sure to join whenever we have another GA flight. Absolutely there, Shipwreck. Certainly. We'll look forward to that. Okay, for some reason, the engine feels like it's attempting to cut out there a little bit. Let me try and lean the mixture just a little bit. That might help, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to enrich it there, or enrichen it, rather. Okay. Yeah, so as I said, I haven't flown this airplane in a while, and what A2A does, and this can be either a nightmare or a good thing depending on your point of view, but what A2A does is actually simulate the effect of leaving an aircraft like this unattended for months on end if you don't fly it in the sim. So all the attendant, or consequential, effects of leaving an airplane like this just sitting unattended without flying it for weeks and months, all those effects actually accumulate in the airplane. So I've noticed the engine seems to perform a lot smoother, without all these issues like I'm seeing right now. Boy, the RPM just drops like that. I wonder why. I don't think I've seen that, or maybe I've seen that before. I don't remember anymore how to deal with it. Oh boy. Hopefully the engine doesn't quit on us. Once again, did I mention we're going to be flying over the shark-infested waters of Monterey Bay, ladies and gentlemen? So hopefully the shark, if we do end up in the water, a shark doesn't confuse us for a very, very large yellow seal, right? But this is a beautiful livery for sure. I just love it. Wow. Beautiful views here as we head down the coastline. There's Highway 1 down there once again. Micah, welcome back. I thought you were gone for good, Micah. Yes, so we were able somehow miraculously to solve the the internet issues. Now we've got engine issues. If it's not one issue, it's another thing. But somehow miraculously we were able to solve the internet issues. I didn't do anything. All I did was reset the router a second time and it worked. It actually worked for a moment, then it stopped working, and then it worked once again. So I don't quite know what happened there. It's so weird. But anyway, we got that working, and I think you know me. I'm one of these people that once I start something, I really need to finish it. I've got, I call it a mild case of OCD, but people who know me think I'm, you know, sometimes my OCD comes out. I am a little bit obsessive compulsive there, so I needed to finish this. I just felt like I didn't want to end the sim on an internet crash. So we've only got about another 20 minutes to go before we get to Monterey anyway, so this stream will be over pretty shortly. But thanks for coming back, Micah, and hanging out with us. By the way, Micah, this reminds me, because we were talking a few weeks ago about, I think you mentioned that you had started training on Oakland Center to be, or with the Oakland ARTCC, to be a controller on VATSIM, right? So I'm kind of curious how that training is going, whether you've picked that back up, and if so, you know, how far along you are, because that's super cool. You know, it'd be super awesome to do some flights on VATSIM in this part of the country and have you control it for us. And it'd be super awesome as well to have you stream whenever you're ready to do that if you're controlling on VATSIM. That'd be super cool to see. That's something I've had an interest in myself, actually, is doing some controlling, but I just don't know if I'll have the time, unfortunately, to do that, in addition to continuing to create flight sim videos and flight sim content and stream as well. I just don't know if I'd have the time personally to start controlling on VATSIM, but it sounds super, you know, like something I'd be super interested in doing at some point as well. Shipwreck was saying you're not going to try to restart your sim, but you'll make sure to join whenever we have another GA flight. No worries at all there, Shipwreck. Sorry about that. It's that kind of day, like I mentioned. It's unfortunately just that kind of day. Beautiful flyby there. It's just that kind of day for us. All kinds of issues, all kinds of difficulties, but hopefully we get to finish this flight okay, and we get to end this stream on a good note. And I am going to call up my ISP and figure out what the hell happened today, because I am annoyed. That should not have happened just now. Yeah, but we lost complete internet connection here in our household. So I was asking around, and they were like, oh, the router must have failed, so we tried to reset it. Anyway, that all worked out. Okay, let's go into some more cinematic shots here. The airplane is properly trimmed out. Actually, the one thing that we didn't use last time, right, was that one.
I got a bad feeling about this.
So there's plenty of opportunities to use some of these audio clips once we get closer to Monterey. Yes, Lokestar, that's right. Micah was saying. You've gotten one training, which was when you began. Ever since you've been trying to book training sessions every week, you're available. No one ever picked you up. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, Micah. Then one day you were removed. Oh my God, why did that happen, Micah? Can you appeal that? I hope you can, Micah, because that's kind of weird. They shouldn't be doing that. Hopefully you can appeal that, Micah. I'm hoping you'll be able to. Shipwreck says you just installed the Texan, so you'll get to have some fun some other time. Absolutely, Shipwreck. We'll do some more flying the Texan for sure. The next time we fly the Texan on stream, what we'll do is we'll head up to beautiful British Columbia once again, so we can keep our friend Rice Cooker 2000 company up there in Vancouver. Or near the Vancouver area at least. Bella Coola is really far north of British Columbia, but we'll head up to Bella Coola, British Columbia in you know, up there in Western Canada, and we'll have some fun in the T6 Texan in Bella Coola. So we'll fly through the valleys. We'll just do some crazy VFR flying. If the internet cooperates, what we can try to do is do some formation flying in the Texan. That could be a ton of fun. So we're just going to follow the coastline here. And in fact, you know what? We're flying VFR. I don't think the controller is going to object here. Because I am actually in real life, by the way, we're flying over some pretty like a sensitive state preserve here, so we probably wouldn't be able to get low, but I'm gonna get low anyway because we're flying in the sim, and we'll just try and have some fun here. We're gonna climb back up to 3,000 feet once we get closer to Santa Cruz, so we have some altitude before we cross over Monterey Bay. But I'm gonna head down and fly kind of low here. I would never do this kind of flying in real life, just to let you know. But we're gonna get low, and we're just gonna kind of fly along the coastline here and have some fun. So that's what we're gonna do. Lokestar says so many good ones, just can't remember all of them. Yeah, try the command hashed or exclamation mark commands there, Lokestar, and that should give you a partial list at least. I don't think I have the full list yet, but that should at least give you a partial list. So we're gonna just fly low here and kind of follow the coastline and have some fun. Beautiful, this. Beautiful scenery. Micah says you can't appeal it. That really sucks, Micah. Micah says you have to wait 90 days after you got kicked off to enter either ZOA again or another air traffic control center. Holy cow. But you think you're good with just being a pilot right now. Well, I don't blame you there, Micah. Especially if they don't allow you to appeal. You know, it's probably not, it's probably not worth it if that's the case. Why is that the case there, Micah? Why is every control center you've been booked to training with kicking you out? Is it just due to how long you've waited? Try exclamation mark commands there, Lokestar. I think it's commands. I don't think it's command. Although what I probably should do if I was a good streamer, I would set it up so that people could use either command or commands, but it's commands plural. Okay, folks, I'm gonna try this real quick another way here. I'm actually using the LTE on my phone, and hopefully that works. Oh boy, I figured I just wanted to finish this flight and just do it this way. So I'm using my phone as a hotspot, and I'm trying to stream that way. Hopefully that works. Let me know. I can't really see anything in chat. I haven't seen anything in a while, so hopefully this is working, and hopefully you can hear me fine. But, oh boy, that was crazy. That was too crazy. Okay, so my internet is still giving me issues. I'm just using the hotspot of my phone here, and hopefully this at least will allow us to finish up the flight, and we can end it soon. Whoops, actually I know what's happening here. 1 second. Accidentally had something sitting on... I'm very quickly going to have to recalibrate my joystick here, folks. Let me try this here real quick. The cable here between my throttle and my joystick, and I think accidentally something must have popped out. 1 second, let me really quickly recalibrate things here. Too much going wrong with the stream. Okay. Okay, hopefully that works. Okay, hopefully this is working now. Yeah, there we go, that's better. Yeah, because I think the cable got pulled out there, and unfortunately things started moving around. Okay, we're coming up on Santa Cruz up ahead. So that's coming up in a hurry. All right. For some reason, I couldn't see any of the messages in chat here. I don't know why. Now I'm seeing your messages here. Sorry about that. Now I'm seeing all your messages. For some reason, I couldn't see it earlier. Let me try something here real quick. I'm just going to reload my YouTube page on my MacBook, because that's where I was using to see chat earlier. And hopefully that fixes the issue. Because I couldn't see chat. That's why I wasn't able to see your messages and respond to them. Okay, now I can finally see all your messages. Sorry about that. So I was wondering why nobody was saying anything, and now I realize why, because I just couldn't see your messages. Okay, shipwreck, yes indeed. Very, very rough night. There we go. That's right. It does have a fever. My Wi-Fi certainly does have a fever there. Lokestar, no worries. We'll catch you later, Lokestar. Thanks for hanging out with us thus far. Hope you enjoyed it, despite all the difficulties, but thanks for hanging out with us. Adam Barzak, absolutely. You as well. Sorry I missed your message earlier. Alright, I missed far too much here. Alright, for at least 3 viewers who are online at the moment, we'll finish up the stream. We'll at least end it on a positive note, and hopefully we'll fix the streaming issues and the Wi-Fi issues before our next stream over the weekend. Hopefully we'll get these sorted out. I'm hoping that works, Micah. I'm hoping that... Oh, wait, actually, that command is not going to work. 1 second. Let me open up chatbot once again. Yeah, but I'm streaming using LTE at the moment there, Micah. 1 second, had a little bit of a stutter here. If the sim froze, that would totally make sense given the difficulties we've had today. I'm surprised we have anybody watching given how difficult things have been today. 1 second, Micah. Let me get the chatbot working again. There we go. So that command, Micah, should hopefully work now. So give it a shot, and hopefully it should work. Because I turned off chatbot there momentarily. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to just fly right across the Monterey Bay here.
Bad feeling about
there
this.
We go. That worked. That's perfectly appropriate given everything that's gone wrong so far. But we're just going to fly right across Monterey Bay here to Monterey Airport. So that is our plan. Oh, great. Okay, so I've got my iPad hooked up to my hotspot as well, so that way I can follow, I can track my progress here on the iPad. So that's great. I'm actually surprised how well the stream is working, considering I'm streaming out through LTE at the moment. I was not expecting it to work at all, so I'm super surprised it's working so well. Let's get some external shots here. Check out some of this beautiful scenery. That's the town of Santa Cruz back there. That's the pier and the Santa Cruz Boardwalk. Beautiful part of the country, this, once again. Micah, I've got full-blown fiber, so I've got a really, really fast internet connection. So it's not the internet, it's... Oh, you mean on my LTE? On my LTE, I have no idea what the speed is. But apparently it's enough for a 5 megabit per second stream, so at least that's good. Anyway, we'll finish up here. We're coming up on midnight pretty quick, so I need to get some sleep so that I can do what I need to tomorrow, right? But we'll finish this. I really do want to finish this. I don't want to end it on a crash, right? Or on an internet failure. So we'll hop over Monterey Bay here. Hope that we don't have any other issues that cause us to ditch in the water. And we'll head over to Monterey. And let's see, the winds are calm in Monterey. So we're going to land. Let's land on 28 left. We'll come in over the city. That'll be fun. So we'll fly straight into 28 left there at Monterey once we get there. So that is our plan. Micah, I'm not sure what the actual speed is. I think it's 100, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, wait a minute. I think it's 75, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure exactly. I need to look it up. But I have a very, very fast internet connection because it's fiber, right? So I need to look it up once again. But it's not the internet speed that's an issue today. It's just the internet connection was completely dropping, and I'm not really sure I understand why. It's so weird. Anyway, thanks for working out well now, at least. So, well, at least I know now that if that happens again, the option I have is to just hop on my LTE here and try that. Micah was saying if you join another control center, you might go back into Salt Lake City and try to make the airspace more active. Absolutely there, Micah. That's an airspace, unfortunately, that's not as active as it needs to be. You're saying maybe do some controlling at Glacier Park. Absolutely, Micah. That could be a fun airport to control for sure. But school is just taking up time. Well, you know, that does take priority, Micah, for sure. You know, so that makes sense. So it is the summertime. School started back up, by the way? Yeah, I think it has, right? So out of curiosity, is it still kind of study from home for you, wherever you are in Salt Lake City? Or is it, are you actually in school, you know, like are you actually attending classes in person? What's the situation like out there in Utah? Okay, let's see. Airport elevation is 257 feet rather. What is the pattern altitude here? Pattern altitude is going to be 1,300 feet, and it's a right pattern for 28 left, 28 right. Okay. Micah says, no, it hasn't yet. You're just taking driver's ed and fitness. Oh, gotcha there, Micah. Boy, why is driver's ed taking up so much time? Or fitness, for that matter. That's kind of interesting. But either case, hope you're at least enjoying that and having fun with that. But that does take priority, though, for sure, over flight simming. Micah says you're taking them during the summer, so you have more class options next year. Absolutely, Micah. Yeah, for sure. That's understandable. So, are you 16 yet, Micah? Are you able to get your driver's license yet? Micah says you've had to write 5 essays for driver's ed. What? Why? Really? Why would you have to write an essay for driver's ed? Okay, you're turning 16 in December. Awesome, Micah. So you should be able to get your license by then. That's super awesome. And so, Micah, if I remember correctly, you started driving a truck, correct? I remember you had a video on your channel of like, was it a white truck, like a pickup truck? But I hope you're having fun in that thing. And it'd be super nice to be officially given the keys to that when you do get your license later on in the year or early next year. That's super awesome. So, you mentioned earlier, Micah, you're flying for the Southwest WEA. Are you flying the Zibo, or are you flying... I'm not sure if you fly the FlyJSim aircraft at all, the 737 from FlyJSim. But how is the Zibo thing going? Out of curiosity, because it seems like every time I look, right, they're releasing a new update for the Zibo, so I'm kind of curious how things are progressing there. Okay, so there's Monterey Airport there. There's the city of Monterey. Monterey Bay Aquarium, I think, is right about there, and actually it might be right about there if I'm not mistaken. But anyway. There's the airport itself. We're going to come in straight in on runway 28 left, right? Actually, no, we're going to come in straight in on runway 10 right. Never mind. 10 right is what we're going to come in on over the city towards the east. Always get those directions mixed up. That's not a good thing. Micah says a white 99 Chevy S10. That is awesome, Micah. That is super awesome. You say you love the thing to death. Yeah, I can imagine. You know, you really do love your first car for sure. My first car was a piece of junk. I'm not going to say what it is, but it was a piece of junk. But I loved it to death. You know, I couldn't live without it. I actually drove it into the ground, literally. The car died once and for all. But I clocked well over 100,000 miles on the odometer before it died, finally, my first car. But yeah, your first car, you always remember it and you always love it for sure. Micah says you're going back and forth between the Zibo and the NGXU. Oh, you got the NGXU for P3D, Micah. That's super awesome. That is super awesome. you don't really keep up with the 800 updates too much. Unless it is a big update, you're just waiting for them to update the 700 and 900, which they haven't updated in a long time. Yeah, so now there is that Ultimate 737-700, right? Is it Zibo that makes it, or is it another group that makes it? And I actually haven't heard of the 900, so that's super interesting. I've never heard of the 900 from Zibo. I need to look that up. I didn't know they made that as well. Okay, we're coming up on the runway here. That's it right there. Let's go ahead and start preparing for the landing. Let's do our approach landing check. Autopilot is off. We're going to reduce speed 130 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and switch tanks here real quick. Let's go back to the left tank and make sure the carb heat is cold. Canopy coming open. Fuel select with the fullest tank. Let's go ahead and start slowing down here so we can get the gear down. And we'll come straight in on 10 right there. I'm flying offline, so I don't need to call up ATC or anything like that. I just didn't want to risk anything anymore. I wasn't sure if they were connected, if VATSIM was doing anything there, but oh boy, this was a super interesting stream for sure. Okay, so we're just going to come straight in on 10 right there. And we're going to do a wheel landing. So we'll plan it on the mains as softly as we can, let the aircraft slow down, then we'll get the tail wheel down, and then we'll taxi off. And then we'll check out some replays. Okay, prop control 2,000 RPM. And let's go ahead and get the gear down. Okay, gear coming down. Gear down and locked. There we go. We got 2 green there for the mains. And we'll just go straight in on runway 10 right there. Okay, so downwind 120 miles per hour. Base 110 miles per hour. Let's get the mixture full forward. And we'll do final at 90 miles per hour. All right. So obviously, you know, I'm going to do 120 miles per hour for right now. As we get closer, we'll slow down to 110, and then we'll go to 90 and get the flaps. Yeah, we'll get the flaps full down for the landing. Okay. Mike was saying the reason you don't fly the NGXU on stream is because you use default scenery so it doesn't look good. Yeah, that's one of the issues with P3D. You can have a fantastic pay-bear aircraft add-on, but when it comes to the actual, you know, scenery, yeah, it can be an issue. That's one of the nice things about X-Plane, right? You got all that free ortho that you can make yourself, right? And the ortho looks way, way better, right, than any of the default P3D scenery for sure in X-Plane 11. Okay. Coming in just a little high here. We'll slow down and lose some altitude as we get closer. 90 miles per hour. That's, yeah, totally. So it's kind of interesting, right? It's an old airplane from way back in the 40s, right? So back then they totally used miles per hour for their indications there. Okay, let's start getting the flaps out just a little bit there. Slow down. Actually, let's get the flaps all the way down. And we'll slow down to 90 miles per hour. Actually, we'll slow down to 88 miles per hour. And we'll go back to the future, right? All right, let's slow down to 90 here, and we'll do a wheel landing. Let me get some trim in there. And let's see if you can do a spot landing right on the markers if you can. Probably won't be able to. No, probably not. There we go. Nice touchdown. Let's pin the main wheels onto the runway there. Let's let the aircraft slow down. Let's get the flaps up. And as the aircraft slows down there, we'll go ahead and get the tail wheel down. Okay, let's go stick full back there. Let's start slowing down. And we'll try an exit on Kilo up ahead if you can. Actually, is it Kilo? No, the next one is Lima. We missed Kilo. So we'll take Lima up ahead. And we'll taxi off on Lima. We'll taxi to the old terminal building there, the FBO. And then we'll check out some replays later. Okay, right onto Lima here. Unfortunately, nobody used sound effects there. You can feel free to use as many as you want. Are the sound effects working out of curiosity? No, nobody's tried the command, so never mind. Okay, let's go ahead and taxi down here. Lima on, then right onto Alpha. We'll taxi past the terminal down to the old terminal building. There's a beautiful building, and we're taxiing right into the setting sun here. That's beautiful. Okay, once I can get my hand in the mixture there, we'll pull the mixture back slightly, lean out the mixture, prevent the engine from fouling up, or the spark plugs from fouling up potentially. Micah was saying you wanted to, but you forgot the one you wanted to play. No worries there, Micah. No worries at all. It's all good. Okay, so we'll just taxi down here to the terminal, and then we'll set the flaps back down, and we'll do some replays in ChasePlane. But this is a beautiful airport for sure. It's a beautiful scenery from Orbex. It's quite a bit old, actually. Boy, I can't remember the last time I flew into Monterey Airport in real life. Obviously, you don't need to, but I've flown into it a couple of times. The last time it must have been, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. It's been a while since I've flown in here. But I remember flying in here once, and just because, you know, obviously I don't need to fly in here, but I was, you know, coming back from out east. I was visiting some friends out here, so I figured I'd just fly in here, and then, you know, drive up to SFO later, or drive up to San Francisco later. But what happened was, the flight here got canceled, so I had to fly to SFO anyway. So that was interesting. Okay, so we're going to just go direct to Del Monte Aviation here. We'll park there. Actually, the Micah, the command is pretty good. Just exclamation mark, pretty good. That's the command. Pretty good. Just pretty good. You've given up, says Micah. Alright, we'll park here at Del Monte Aviation. Beautiful building, this. I love it. It's like an old... you know, it's almost like an old Art Deco style building there. Pretty good. There you go.
Pretty good.
Alright, let's put the flaps down, and we'll do some replays. ChasePlane, unfortunately, is not going to be able to do all that for us, given the limitations of... there we go. Flaps are full down. Let's go ahead and check out some replays of that landing. Alright, just quickly close a couple of windows here that I don't need anymore. Alright. Let's do some replays. Show playback window, and let's see if we did a good wheel landing. That felt like a really nice wheel landing, actually. So we'll see how we did here. Let's pull it back to about there, and let's check this out. All right. And of course, the approach the other way, coming into land on 28 left, is pretty interesting with all that terrain, right? Anyway, let's see how we did here. I have a good feeling about this. Ooh, that worked out nicely. By the way, unfortunately, you can't do anything about that ridiculous touchdown smoke effect. That's something that comes with ChasePlane. It's just an artifact of ChasePlane. Until the airplane is fully stopped flying, that effect is going to be there. So obviously we weren't kicking up that much tire smoke. There was no reason to during the landing. But that's one of the unfortunate aspects of the ChasePlane replay system. So there we go. It's a good thing I'm not streaming on Twitch, right? Or that would make for some entertaining clips there. Okay, let's do a tower view here. Boy, that's beautiful right there with the dusk sky. That looks pretty. Micah was saying, I haven't seen that video yet, Micah. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to go back through the chat, and I'm going to check that out. Micah says he wished the replays were as good in P3D as an X-Plane. Yeah, totally, Micah. I do wish that as well. It's really unfortunate that it isn't. Okay, let's see how we did here. That was a really nice wheel landing, actually. I'm really happy with that one. Okay, let's call it an evening, folks. It is super late. It's actually past midnight, which is way past my curfew for streaming. Usually never streaming this late, but thanks to those of you that hung out and put up with all the streaming issues that we had today. It was crazy for sure, but it was still fun. Hopefully I get all this stuff sorted out before our next stream, either Saturday or Sunday. If we do a stream over the weekend, I'm not quite sure just yet, but we'll do a stream over the weekend. Okay, I'm going to leave you now with a fantastic cover of Chuck Berry's Carol by J.D. McPherson. Fantastic artist. Check him out on iTunes, YouTube as well. Got some good videos on there. And I'm going to call it a night, folks. This was super fun despite all the issues. And I'm glad and grateful to those of you that stuck it out. Okay, I'm going to head out here. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll catch you hopefully over the weekend if I'm streaming over the weekend. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for hanging out, Micah. That's right, Micah. It does have shades of that. And thanks for hanging out today, Micah. We'll catch you next time, hopefully. You have a great night, man. We'll catch you all later, those of you who are in chat. Thanks for hanging out. Take care. Bye-bye.
Your hat and you can thank her, ma'am. Every time you make the scene, you find the joint is jammed. Carol, don't let them see your heart away. I've got to learn to dance if it takes me all night and day. Hey.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Now if you wanna hear some music like the boys are playing, hold tight, don't coast, don't let them carry away. And don't the heat overcome you when they play so loud. Don't the music intrigue you when they get a crowd. You can't dance, I know you wish you could. I got my eyes on you, baby, 'cause you dance so good. Yeah. Don't let them see your heart away. I've got to learn to dance if it takes me all night and day. Thank you, Index. Thank you, folks.